I don't think it's a question of Keller or Cooley. I think it's more a question of, is McBain, is he feeling 100%? Is Carcone going to be considered tonight, even though he wasn't at morning skate, and is Alexander Kerfoot ready to go? So those are the ones that I would more so expect to be up in question. Of course, anything can change. We'll see what the lineup is about an hour before the puck drops. But yeah, those are the players that I would keep an eye on.
Now, Keller, just back off of obviously the gold medal and everything, he flew in last night. Do you think he'll be, I don't know, how to say this, jet lagged is probably the best term. Do you think he'll be slowed up?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, these guys are accustomed to crazy schedules,
yes.
Right? I mean, these guys play back-to-backs where, they're flying from, one side of the country to the next, and, they get in at 4 a.m. and, they've got to play a game the next night. So, we talked to him today, and he said, it's been a fun few days, it's been a crazy few days, but he has not slept as well. I would expect he got a pretty good night's sleep last night. Ryan Smith made sure to bring him in to pick him up and get him back here early. So yeah, we'll see exactly where he's at. I'm sure that there is some mental and physical lag, but with a competitor like Keller and a guy who's been playing the NHL as long as he has, I don't know that it's going to weigh on him too much.
All right, we have been eagerly awaiting Logan Cooley's return to the lineup. He's one of those, I call him a talisman type of player, just one of those players that you need to have in your lineup. How excited should we be to see him back on the ice after such a significant period out?
Yeah, it's a massive upgrade for this roster and a team. It's very exciting because this team was playing phenomenal hockey while he was sidelined, and that's not a knock to him at all, but it just speaks volumes as to the next man up mentality. And, how many of these other guys stepped up and how well they were able to play. And so then to get a guy like Cooley, who is one of the brightest young stars in the National Hockey League, and, a guy who's so versatile in his game, right? He's not just a shooter. He's not just a facilitator. He's a very well-rounded 200-foot player out on the ice who's going to come into the top six and who's going to play on the second power play unit. Yeah, it should lift this team. Mammoth fans should be very excited. I mean, the team did what they had to do to stay alive going into the Olympic break, and now they're getting reinforcements. And what better reinforcement to get than a guy like Logan Cooley?
Yeah, and you also mentioned Alexander Kerfoot. He hasn't played a lot this year, but he is back. He's available. And you talk about reinforcements. It feels like they've got essentially all hands on deck. You mentioned there's a couple guys sick, Carcone, et cetera, but it feels like the roster is finally full, and it should lend itself to, I think, some better, I guess, not better lineups, but the best lineups you can put out there.
Yeah, at least for right now, right?
Yes, correct.
Lots of these guys are well rested too. Of course, a lot of teams are going to be that way. Most of the NHL has taken the last few weeks off, but yeah, I mean, this should be the most complete roster that we've seen this season, and hopefully it lasts through the end of the year. But yeah, it's exciting. And Kerfoot, he's not going to have as big of an impact as a guy like Cooley. Kerfoot's a guy that's going to play in the bottom six, but he's a critical depth piece with a lot of experience. He's played a lot of hockey in his career. He's very smart, and he can certainly boost a fourth line. That if you were going to nitpick things that didn't necessarily go super well for the Mammoth those last few weeks leading up to the break, their fourth line struggled. So, we'll see. Once he's back, how much can he help that line figure out their game?
Okay, obviously they're facing off against Colorado, who's one of the division leaders, one of the elite teams in the NHL. I'm just floored at this number, and I keep going back to it. Nathan MacKinnon has 40 goals and 53 assists for the Avalanche currently, and there's still 20-some-odd games to go. Just for context's sake, how good do you think this Colorado team really is?
Yeah, they're a Cup favorite. And I would, probably about 3 or 4 weeks before the Olympic break, I would say, call it they're going to win the Cup. That's how good how good they are. That's how good they were. But they kind of fell off a little bit going in, and it's not like they really had any significant injuries. I mean, all their top players were playing. All their top players just went to the Olympics, and they've got Brock Nelson who just won gold with Team USA, and of course McKinnon and Makar were playing for Canada. So yeah, I mean, they're incredibly good. They're probably one of about 3 or 4 teams that should be considered heavy Cup favorites. But the good thing for Utah is they match up so well against these guys. I don't really know why that is. But the few games that they've already played this season have all been decided by about a goal or maybe 2. I think there was one that an empty netter was scored for the Avalanche, so technically it was a 2-goal game. But all of them have been just a 1-goal, 1-shot type of game, and so Mammoth fans should have some confidence that Utah is going to put up another good fight.
Now, this is the final of the 4 games they'll play this season. Obviously, there is the potential that they could see each other in the playoffs, but this could be a stretch where they're 2 Central Division teams that don't see each other the rest of the season and kind of eyeing one another from a distance, it feels like.
Yeah. Looking at the playoffs, if I was Utah, I would want either Colorado or Vegas in the first round. And I know a lot of people would say, well, if they play Colorado, they're going to get killed. I don't know that they would. I mean, I don't know that they'd win that series, but I think the way that they match up with Colorado, the rivalry that's kind of starting to come about, the proximity, the amount of Utah fans that would travel out there, the number of Colorado fans that would come here, and then of course the Winter Classic that's next season. I think that's a series that I would like to see. Something that there could be some fireworks, and Utah I think could push Colorado to 6 or 7 games just based on the way that they match up and how hungry they are. And for a young team that wants to get playoff experience, who better than to play right out the gate, right? To learn what it takes to see if you can hang with these guys. And then, I wouldn't mind Vegas either. I think that's actually a series that Utah could win in the first round. And of course, proximity goes into that as well. There would be a lot of Vegas fans up here, and there would be a lot of Utah fans down there, and maybe more of a natural rivalry. So those are the 2 teams that I would like to see. A team I don't want to see Utah match up against is the Edmonton Oilers. I just don't think you want to run into Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in the first round. And historically in Utah's existence, I think they've only beaten that team once out of 3 or 4 meetings. So Colorado, they're a good team. I think that they're a Cup favorite, but I know the Mammoth are hungry to prove themselves.
All right, so the Mammoth have a quick 3-game homestand as they kind of restart things. Home to Colorado tonight, against Minnesota Friday, and then Sunday against Chicago. How important is it, Cole, to kind of get pull points out of all 3 of these matchups before you go on a lengthy road trip? I think it's 5 games after that you're out on the road for.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get a minimum of 3 points over these next 3 games. I mean, 4 would be, would probably be the goal, and anything above that would be just gravy. And it's going to be tough. You got 2 of the best teams in the NHL. Utah's going to get their first look at the Minnesota Wild, post the Quinn Hughes trade, who has just made that team that much better. Mm-hmm. There's no night off in the National Hockey League, and Utah's going to have a gauntlet right out the gate, but it's good, right? I mean, it's going to give them an opportunity to prove who they really are and to prove if they're legit. And like I said, if they can come out of these, first 3 games with, a minimum of 3 points, and if you can get 4, that is wildly successful. And if somehow you pull a quick one on either Minnesota or Colorado, and then you take care of business against Chicago, that would be huge.
Cole Bagley, our Utah Mammoth insider for KSL Sports and KSLSports.com. I want to ask you real quick, Cole. So 2 significant injuries that I was looking at coming out of the Olympics. One of them is your guy, Sidney Crosby. Obviously, they're saying 4 weeks he's going to go on IR for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the one that I think strikes a little closer to home because they're in the same division as the Mammoth is Mikko Rantanen. So where does the happy medium lie? Because these guys want to go play for their countries. There's zero doubt about that. They're putting their bodies on the line, but their clubs also got to be thinking, man, why'd you have to get yourself hurt?
Yeah, I think, the culture of hockey is, the guys, there's an understanding that these guys want to represent their country.
Yeah.
And there's no bigger stage. There's no greater honor. But that doesn't mean that general managers and coaches aren't holding their breath, right? I'm sure, every time that those guys take a shift, they're watching, and the number one thing they're watching for is, please don't get yourself hurt. I mean, for Utah, wildly successful Olympics, right? I mean, you had 4 Olympians, three of those guys, played games. Obviously, Vejmelka didn't, but, he got the Olympic experience. He rested for 2 weeks, which is a huge positive. I'm sure he would have preferred to be on the ice, but wasn't given the opportunity. And then for the other three, Keller only played about 15 total minutes on the ice. And so, he got some experience. He won a gold medal, which is amazing. And he also was able to be around, some of the best talent in the world. And then for Peterka and Olli Mata, those guys both played solid minutes. And, Mata ended up coming home with a bronze medal. So for Utah, I don't think it could have gone any better. To be completely honest with you, to have a gold medalist and to have every guy come home healthy and be ready to go. But yeah, for teams, it's a risk that you got to take, but it's one that, you don't really have any other option. Those guys are going to go and play. They need to play. They belong there. That's some of the best hockey I've ever seen in my entire life. Not just the gold medal game, but the quarters, the semis, the final. NHL players belong there, and I'm sure that, I don't think that Crosby or Rantanen would take back, their participation. It's just something they got to live with, and, at some point they'll be back.
All right, Cole, I'm not going to hold you to this, but 4 years from now, they're going to be back in the French Alps for the next Olympics. I assume that Clayton Keller is going to stay in the Team USA mix, but who else from the Mammoth roster, Logan Cooley or any other names that you think will absolutely be in the mix potentially to end up playing for Team USA when the next Olympics rolls around? Yeah,
I think for Team USA, we'll see where Keller will be at. I think he's 27 or 28 years old.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that Keller will necessarily be strongly in the mix. I'm sure he'll be considered. But I think Logan Cooley, I would almost guarantee he'll play on that team.
Okay.
I think he had a really good chance to play this year. I think his injury obviously played a factor in the fact that he wasn't able to make the team. But, just based on his trajectory, his talent, his hunger, I asked him about it the other day. We got to talk to him shortly about just the Olympics. And, I said, USA wins gold. Are you using that as motivation, to make that team? He said, absolutely. He said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be on that team the next time that they play. So, I fully anticipate that Cooley will, not only have a really good shot, but I will be shocked if he's not on it. And I think an interesting year to look forward to is in Salt Lake City in 2034. I think Cooley will have a shot to be, in the leadership group of that team. So exciting stuff ahead, for Logan Cooley.
Okay, so remind me, Cooley is 22, correct?
I think he's 21.
21. Okay, so he'd be
just turned 21.
29, 30 potentially, and a hometown kid potentially playing in a hometown Olympics. That'd be phenomenal, actually.
Yeah, he should be in the prime of his career at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like that 27, 28, 29-year-old range, that's when guys are generally playing their best hockey. So, look out for Cooley to be a major, player for the United States.
Okay, so the other guys, J.J. Peterka, Karel Vejmelka, also Olli Mata, do you expect them to stay in their national team mix? And are there guys in the minor leagues? I think of the Tija Ginlas, the Maverick Lamoureux. Like, are we looking at a team, speaking of the Mammoth, that could have multiple representatives from multiple Olympics to come, I guess is probably the question to ask.
Yeah, I don't think Karel Vejmelka will make Czechia next time.
Okay.
Just based on it's 4 years away. Not that he's super old or anything like that, but you start to get into your 30s. That's tough. He didn't get any playing time this go around, and there's some young Czech goalies that are very, very good. Maybe 4 years from now or 8 years from now, Utah's prospect Michael Rabel is potentially playing, vying for an Olympic spot. I think for Utah, there's going to be some serious contenders for spots on Team Canada, over these next 8 years. I fully anticipate Dylan Gunther to be a part of Team Canada next Olympics, probably, here in Salt Lake City as well in 2034. And then, guys like Tija Ginla, Cole Baudouin, Caleb Denoyer, they're going to have really good opportunities as well to make Team Canada. And then, J.J. Peterka should continue to be a staple for Team Germany. They're not overly talented. That's not a knock on Peterka's skill set or anything like that. But, just more opportunity. And then for Olli Mata, that should be his last Olympics. I think he's 31 or 32 years old. So, being 35, 36 the next go-around, I wouldn't anticipate he would be on that team.
Well, it's exciting stuff because I think a lot of people were enthralled by what happened with the Olympics, and obviously the way the Team USA won it, obviously epic fashion on that front. But Cole, thanks again for carving out some time to join us here. Looking forward to tonight and looking forward to watching how this all plays out. We've got essentially 25 games and hopefully a playoff runner in this Utah Mammoth squad. And we'll be tracking all your work, obviously, on KSLSports.com and obviously all the hits you do here on the station. So thanks again for carving out some time for us.
Thanks, Jake.
All right, there you go. Cole Bagley, big thank you to him for joining us. 25 games. And Mammoth sitting in a really, really good spot right now, but Cole already referenced it. You've got to come out of the gate strong here. And Lloyd, I just want to
That's why it's important for for Keller and these guys that are coming back. Like,
you got to hit the ground running.
Got to get going.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, unfortunately, Keller didn't get a ton of time.
Yeah.
So there's probably a little bit of rest. But I'm sure there's a little bit of fatigue for travel and all that stuff. But it's time to get after it. Like 25 games. It's now or never. Like it's the race for the wild card is so tight.
Yeah.
That every point. Every point. Obviously, when you start realizing the point system of the NHL and how it works, it's not like you have a game off and if somebody loses, you just gain some ground. No, you need the points. Yeah. You can't even going overtime with teams in the same conference or whatever. It's actually bad because they're getting a point.
Correct. Yeah, you need the points, and then
that's why wins are important.
Yeah.
Now if it's the other conference, and it's a point's a point, but it's valuable.
And you're getting a shock to the system. Colorado and Minnesota back to back here right out of the chute. Like you're diving right.
And they've had success this year. They had that OT win. Which was it was a game I was able to take the kids to and watch that OT win.
Yeah.
And I want to say they barely lost their other matchup they had with them, if I remember right.
Yeah, but these two, you're right into it. Like there's no easing back into the schedule. These are two of the best teams in your own division. And obviously you gotta make some noise. All right, coming up next, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's some things going on. We'll talk to some BYU basketball in particular as part of that because pretty ugly in Provo last night. We'll get to that.
Could be bad and ugly.
Well, yeah, pretty much. We'll get to that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I am certainly looking forward to when this phase of Jazz basketball is over. And I would never say they do this intentionally, but I do think that the vibe of trying to lose affects the players in this sense, Ben. They were mopping the floor with the Grizz in the first half.
Yep.
It was just a completely different team in the second half. And by the way, the team the Grizz threw out there wasn't exactly all NBA. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't.
I'm thinking like, they're going to accidentally win this thing.
It's
gotta suck.
As I've said, these close losses that we pretend are good for something, it's not real. None of this is real. It just doesn't matter at all. It matters as soon as Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Lowry Markkanen, Keontae George are on the floor together. And then do you fit with that group or do you not? Because if you don't, they're not going to care about you. Their job is not to like you as a person. Their job is to win basketball games, and that's what they're trying to figure out.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hi, David James here for Soda Weight Loss. 2 weeks in, I am down 10 pounds. I am halfway to my goal, 50% of the way there. Why have I made such progress? Because Soda has put me in contact with a nutritionist who's got a program set up just for me. If I got to travel for a couple days, all kinds of tips to help make sure that I keep that sugar and sodium out of my diet, because that is why I gained the weight. The nutritionist is key. No shots, no pills, which is great because I don't want to take the shots and the pills. And also they're expensive. You want to be paying for that forever? Keep that money in your pocket. Learn how to eat right and exercise right. Take that knowledge and save money for a lifetime. Learn how to eat right with the help of a Soda nutritionist. You can find them online at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA, weightloss.com. Or call 866-800-SODA and talk to a nutritionist now. 866-800-SOTA, Soda Weight Loss. Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today. 801-210-6800. That's 801-210-6800.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
It's coming, the 11th annual Salt Lake Off-Road and Outdoor Expo, this Friday and Saturday. 5 halls full of eye-popping side-by-sides, 4x4s, SEMA builds, trophy trucks, and display vehicles from mild to wild. Expo specials on parts, tools, gear, and cool accessories. $40,000 in prize drawings this Friday and Saturday at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets $14, kids under 12 free. Sponsored by R1 Industries and Sound Warehouse.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contest.
This is a Utah Jazz at 30 update on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Utah Jazz will be back in action tomorrow night, starting a double dip against the New Orleans Pelicans. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip at the Delta Center. Found out the news yesterday, disappointing news. Vince Williams tore his ACL after being injured in that game against Houston. Obviously, he'll miss the rest of the season and likely miss some time going on into next season. This Utah Jazz update brought to you by University of Utah Health. At University of Utah Health, our hope is in our DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
The good. Oh. Good. All right. Welcome back into Scotty G and Friends. Time for good, the bad, and the ugly. And Lloyd, the NCAA is putting some teeth behind transfers that join programs that don't go into the portal during the window. Now, this has not happened often, but it's happened a handful of times. There was the kid from Wisconsin who left Wisconsin and enrolled at Miami. That was last offseason, caused the whole deal. Miami got sued by Wisconsin over this whole deal. This is very curious, and I'm interested to see if this actually holds up here. So, this has been proposed by the NCAA. It will have to be formally approved by the Division I cabinet. But here are the 3 things they're considering doing here, Lloyd. Number 1, the head coach, if they take an athlete from a school that hasn't entered the portal, he just tries to circumvent it all, tries to enroll, the head coach will be prohibited from all football, speaking of recruiting and on-field coaching and administrative duties, team meetings, etc., for 6 games of the following season. So that's kind of the Jim Harbaugh thing where you're not allowed to do anything. Essentially, you are suspended for half the season. Number 2, school's going to be fined 20% of its football budget. Now, for some of these schools,
start losing some budget.
And
that might make you think twice.
And
maybe.
let's say a 20% budget. I think what did Texas report last year was $170 million for Texas in their football budget. $34 million fine. That could hit you pretty good there.
I would imagine that'll make teams think twice.
Yeah.
Hypothetically. I would think so.
And now the final one is the school would then be required to reduce the number of roster spots, because it's currently now roster spots, it's not scholarships, by 5 for the next season, regardless of the head coach's employment status of the school. Because you'd think if a coach did this, you're probably going to whack him, but you're still losing 5 roster spots as well for a year.
There are so many things, so many guardrails, they're so far behind the 8 ball now that, I mean, it's just out of control. With everything, every part of NIL and the transfer portal, all of it is so far behind that it's like they're trying to now rein it in, and it's good luck.
Well, the thing is, the NCAA had an opportunity to, have the transfer portal and NIL and roll it out the right way, to actually have the guardrails in place. No, instead, they just kind of threw it out there and said, have at it, and are now trying to create those guardrails alongside it. And to your point, there's no putting that toothpaste back in the tube, because everybody's had the free reign. They've been able to throw money around, and I literally say throw money around because that's what they're doing. Look at Texas Tech, for example. And I don't fault Texas Tech. They're operating within the framework of the rules.
Oh, absolutely. They're doing whatever everybody else is doing. Yeah. I mean, they're doing football-wise, they're doing what BYU's doing for basketball for the most part.
Correct. Yeah. And
like they are getting their money's worth.
They definitely are. And so I appreciate the NCAA trying to put some teeth behind it now, but the problem was you had the opportunity to do it the right way initially, and you said, hey, have this, and we'll put it together. No.
Everybody was like, okay,
yeah, exactly.
I'll take it. Yeah. Thanks.
And now we
can now pay players legally, and they can transfer as much as they want for the most part. Like, thank you. This is awesome.
Yep.
For the haves.
Yeah, now the interesting part is, I'm just thinking that brings this closer to home. Remember the Jake Retzloff situation last year? He unenrolled at BYU. He did not enter the transfer portal there was 2 windows last year. He didn't enter it during either one of those. But he unenrolled at BYU because obviously he was facing a suspension, then enrolled at Tulane. Would that situation then make Tulane, but put them in the crosshairs of the NCAA in theory? That's the question I have, because Jake, I think he did about as good as he possibly could do it in that circumstance. But the way this is kind of written, that would put Tulane right there in violation of this.
Absolutely.
So Jake Retzloff could have found himself out in the cold, or serving what was reportedly a 7-game suspension to play for BYU. All right, let's move along to the bad.
Now the bad.
All right, Cleveland. James Harden has apparently broken his thumb. Yet another injury.
Seriously? I'm telling you, he gets all the breaks. No pun intended.
Well,
pun intended.
Here's the thing. James Harden has been a guy that has had incredible success in his NBA career. There's just no doubt about it. But the only success he hasn't had is in the postseason. Think about it, Lloyd. He's had injuries. He's had teams that just weren't good enough to do anything significant. And
he's like the modern day, I don't know, like a Tracy McGrady.
Tracy McGrady is probably a good poll there, because McGrady was incredible during the regular season.
One of the best.
Gets in the playoffs, though, and you're like, well, there is not much there. It's kind of a ghost town. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out for Cleveland, because obviously Donovan Mitchell, the connection he has to Utah, people pay attention, I think, a little closer to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They made this trade to bring James Harden in with the whole thought that he could hopefully get them over the top in a pretty weak Eastern Conference. But as has been reported here, he has apparently fractured the tip part of his thumb. Apparently there's 2 parts of it. And the report is that he is expected, if he doesn't have surgery, to miss 6.5 games, 17-ish days. The question for Cleveland is, if it extends any further than that, what are you looking at here? Because they've been on a roll since James Harden joined. I think they're 6-1 in their 7 games since he joined the team. So things have been going well, but if you're without him
they made this move with the point of taking him to the next step in the playoffs.
Yeah, they were.
And that's now in jeopardy.
So it's like, and I think from the Donovan Mitchell side of things, he's like, really? Another thing to another. I don't know, but the thing is, you look at it and say, man, James Harden, could you have worse luck in some ways than he's having with this. But I'll also say this.
Hey, don't cry for me, Argentina.
Yeah, and he engineered this. Because, remember, L.A. was rolling. The Clippers, after a horrific start this season, were rolling. And then he went to the team and said, hey, can you guys move me to the deadline? I want to go try something different. So he made his bed. Now he and Cleveland have to lie in it, and we'll see where it goes. I'm very curious to see how long he ultimately is out, and as you point out, Lloyd, how much it affects them in the lead up to the playoffs. All right, let's get to the ugly.
And of course, the ugly.
All right, it was plenty ugly in Provo last night for the BYU Cougars. I remember watching that game last night. I sat down, I'm like, all right, okay, they're 11.5-point favorites. We'll see how it all goes. Riley Kugel, who was the leading scorer for the UCF Knights, was unavailable to play for Johnny Dawkins' squad. But then, it started out with 3 straight fast break buckets for UCF. BYU's defense was... it's a no-show all night long. They trailed by as many as 36 points in this game, ultimately before falling by 13 points. But I'm telling you, 97-84 does not even tell half of the story of this game for the BYU basketball program. And I think the biggest thing to take away from this is, after BYU picked up probably their win of the year on Saturday night, they upset number 6 Iowa State. They get a big win that essentially was their signature win for their chances of going to the NCAA tournament. Lloyd, they went out and put just their worst loss of the season on the line against UCF. It shows kind of the up and down nature of this BYU.
Yeah, we saw the good post Richie Saunders. We saw the good against Iowa State. And you're like, oh, okay, this is what this team's capable of. But then you saw, okay, this is also what this team is capable of. Very Dr. Jekyll and Hyde.
I thought the Oklahoma State game was the low point for this team. Remember, they went to Oklahoma State, got absolutely boat raced, and you thought, okay, they learned their lesson. They can't afford to play as bad as they did defensively.
And the thing is, that one was on the road.
I know.
This one's at home.
Correct.
Your home crowd.
And I had a buddy of mine who texted me last night about this. He's like, he sent me a GIF. It was like, this is the absolute worst. It was the Michael Scott GIF. And I'm like, I get it, because you're down by 36 points at home, and UCF is a team that's fighting to get on the right side of the bubble. I think last night's win probably puts them safely inside the NCAA tournament field. But this is a team, BYU's now 7th place in the Big 12 Conference.
The way this season started, I would have never thought
nobody
did be the case. I didn't think they were going to go through this. I knew they had flaws.
Sure.
Like this team has flaws. Yeah. Absolutely. There's 90. UCF scored 97 points, nearly 100 points in 40 minutes of play.
And had they kept the hammer down, they would have gone over 100 easy.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
no problem. Like that. They're obviously, all of a sudden, they're looking at a team that could make a run to where they could easily be out in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
What I feel like from this BYU squad is Saturday against Iowa State showed that BYU is very capable of beating quite literally anybody when they're on their game. But what happened last night against UCF shows just as likely, they can lose to anybody. And that is what I think has a lot of BYU fans upset. As you would have thought, they would have carried some momentum over from the Iowa State game. Riley Kugel, who leads a pretty balanced lineup for UCF, their leading scorer, he wasn't playing last night. You would have thought, okay, we got this one in the bag. And the odds makers thought you had it. I think the game time, the line went up to 14 points. But you get beat by 13? 27-point swing if you want to go by the betting parlance and everything out there. The Skittles.
Where'd you have your money?
I don't.
Patch?
I don't put. I put Skittles down on.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. All right.
No, but the thing is, it shows you mentioned Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's what this BYU team is. They are just as capable of getting bounced in the first round as they are maybe making a run to the Elite Eight, Lloyd. And I don't even know what to expect from them at this point.
I still don't quite understand. I understand they have holes. It's just. It is crazy for as much talent, and the thing is, they're asking so much of AJ. Yeah, absolutely, they are. I mean, he's have to play dang near full. He's going to have to play full games. Of course, you're going to lose something on the defensive side of the ball.
Correct. Yeah.
You're going to lose some of the guys that have to go both. An entire game. You're going to lose that on the defensive side. They're going to need to take some breathers while on the court.
And that therein lies the problem. They have fatal flaws with the perimeter defense and their interior presence offensively in terms of the big men. They need a Foose. They need a Fousseyni Traore. Remember, he was a walking bucket. When you needed to throw it into the low block, you gave it to Foose, and he would find a way to put the ball in the basket. They don't have that, and it does not look good for the BYU Cougars at this point. All right, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and hopefully BYU rebounds because they've got 2 games on the road coming. At West Virginia on Saturday afternoon. They followed up with a road trip to Cincinnati. They played the way they did against UCF. Are we looking at a losing streak?
They already had one.
Yeah, so we'll see how it all goes. All right, we'll come back on the other side. More in a moment right here. Scotty G and Friends right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is JJ and Alex.
I got this. I just thought it was funny because they came out with NBA front office rankings, the highest kudos. It's not just about winning right now. It's that they built something 5 years ago, and they're being rewarded for it now. And to get there 4 or 5 years ago started with, guess what? What we're seeing right now with all these smaller teams. The Jazz are they're brand new at this. You know what I mean? Like
they don't have the tanking history that all these other top 10 teams, the teams with the top 10 front offices in the league, have all tanked.
These general managers are asked to put together rosters. How do you do it? Within the reason and within the rules that they have been given. And so in the same breath that you're congratulating these front offices for building, you're also fining them for following the rules that you put out there, Adam Silver, in the league. And this is what we've been living. The reality that these guys have. They are dang smart. They would be extremely dumb if they didn't try to do the same exact thing that everybody else was doing.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 7 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, we all get banged up from time to time, and when you do, you want to make sure you go to the best. You want to get back out on the field. You want to get back out on the court, the golf course, whatever the case might be, and you want to make sure you have as little pain as possible. A lot of us, we just deal with it, and we feel like that's just what life is. Well, you go to University of Utah Health. They can eliminate the pain just like they do for members of the Utah Mammoth, for the University of Utah teams, for the Utah Jazz as well. The doctors that treat those professional athletes will treat you as well. All you have to do is go to uofuhealth.org, find a clinic next to you. There's so many up and down the Wasatch Front. And I might add, you got the granddaddy of them all, the University of Utah Hospital, named the #1 hospital in the state of Utah for 11 years in a row. Peace of mind, folks. You're going to go to a place that's going to take care of you the first time and do it right and treat you like a human being. University of Utah Health. Go to uofuhealth.org. That's uofuhealth.org.
Ready for unbeatable deals? At Tim Daly Nissan Southtown, drive home a new Sentra starting at just $19,900. Need more space? Get up to $9,000 off new Pathfinders. Or grab a rugged Frontier for as low as $399 a month. With 99% approval, 0 down, and 90 days until your first payment. There's never been a better time to buy. Plus, every vehicle comes with the Tim Daly Forever Warranty. Only at Tim Daly Nissan Southtown. Dev Simplify are your software pros. Whether it's websites, mobile apps, or complex custom systems, Dev Simplify is here to make it work and make it easy on you. Need help building software or ongoing management? You've got both. DevSimplify.com designs, develops, and manages the process so your deadline stops slipping and your team stops guessing. Maybe you're stuck in the middle. AI can start a project. Freelancers can build pieces of it. But without real project management, teams get stranded halfway through. DevSimplify.com brings the roadmap, the pit crew, and the finish line. When a software project slows down, breaks down, or stalls out entirely, DevSimplify, the software pros, can turn that chaos into beautiful completion. DevSimplify.com. From the start, or in the middle, to finish and beyond. Ready to move? At DevSimplify.com, you can always schedule a quick and free project assessment. But right now, you can get a complimentary discovery session with 5 hours free. DevSimplify.com. Your software pros.
Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, from preparing to serve to standing side by side, starting a life together. At every age, at every milestone, Mr. Mac helps you feel confident and prepared by showing up looking your best no matter where life takes you. Locally owned and operated for nearly 60 years, Mr. Mac, helping you look your best for all of life's events.
If you've been disappointed by underachieving savings, a high-yield certificate from America First can be a fantastic way to help your money start doing more. Whether you're planning for an upcoming expense or just want to save smarter and earn bigger, America First's flexible certificates are an outstanding way to grow your cash. So don't wait to get your money working. Head to americafirst.com and open a high-yield certificate today. Membership eligibility, terms, conditions, and change apply. Fees could reduce account earnings. Federally insured by NCUA.
To let me know.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I'll be here till the end of time.
Welcome back to Scotty G and Friends here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Jake Hatch, sitting in for Scotty G. He'll be on the call tonight of Utah State and San Diego State. 9 p.m. tip down there at Viejas Arena. And this one...
Fingers crossed, Hatch. Well, I don't know. I'm hoping he'll get there in time to
Well, okay, fair. He's had his...
he's had some delays.
He's had the travel day from hell. Let's put it that way.
Yes, he has, starting yesterday.
Yes, so hopefully he does get there. But this game tonight, Aggies and Aztecs essentially going to be MWC champion, whoever wins this one.
Where's Ajay? We might even need Ajay on the call.
Where is Ajay?
Ajay, where are you at? Hopefully you're traveling with the team.
I wanted to quote a famous quote from the sideline all those years ago.
Where's what, Wright Waters?
No, it's just...
okay.
It's cold down here. I was dying. I remember listening to that live. I'm like, Ajay.
If there's anybody that's up to the task, it's our guy Ajay.
Ajay's got it.
As he calls the Aggies ladies game. So
yes, he does. He does do a fine job with those. All right, so report out, Lloyd, that remember how the Utah Jazz were fined for affecting the integrity of the game when it comes to the NBA. Report that Lauri Markkanen has an injured hamstring. Is this really what we want? Like, is this?
I don't know what you're talking about, Jake. I hope it's not serious.
Well,
what are you saying?
The dog and pony show that is going on with the NBA right now, and I got to echo something that Jake and Ben have said on their show, is that if Adam Silver wants to dictate how teams go about the rotations and the like, essentially playing direct teams on their playing time, it's a very slippery slope.
That it is. That's opening a whole other can of worms that I don't know if Adam Silver wants to do.
Well, and that's what he's opened here. And now we've heard, and it's nothing against the Utah Jazz. Yusuf Nurkic is having surgery on his nose. He's got apparently a deviated septum. It's something when he fractured it years ago, he's struggled with it since then. Okay, he's shut down. The Vince Williams one, okay, it's a cheap shot. So be it.
And the Yusuf Nurkic, the truth, like,
yeah.
The thing is, how everybody's like, well, it's just the nose.
No.
Like, yeah, but you're running nonstop, like trying to breathe. That's not really an easy thing. So you got to get that taken care of.
One of the best players on my high school team, I don't say we were world beaters, but found out midway through our junior year, he had a deviated septum. He struggled for years playing football because he's like, guys, I just can't breathe when I'm running. He got it fixed.
It's a serious situation.
He got it fixed, and he was a whole new person. And that's just one example. So the point I'm trying to make here is, okay, Lauri Markkanen, hamstring injuries, what the report is out there, and if he's out for any significant period of time, guess what? That is going to increase the Jazz's odds of holding on to this pick. But therefore, the Jazz are now playing by the quote-unquote rules that are being set forth by the NBA. But Adam Silver is also claiming he wants to change these rules when it comes to tanking. I just think they've completely bungled this whole thing.
Well, and Scotty has talked about this many times so they're going to make some changes.
Sure.
And next year, the
Jazz
not a lot of people are going to, as of right now, there's not the depth coming in that'll be in that draft class is not great. So not a lot of teams are going to tank. This year, absolutely. Yeah. It's a very deep class. Yeah. So that makes sense. And next year, you're not as many people. And they're like, well, here you go. See? It worked. Everything we've implemented has worked. See? No more tanking for the most part.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about this is the Jazz have taken, I guess, the poster child of NBA tanking this season because of the fine they incurred. And I know that Rick Carlisle spoke out on it yesterday for the $100,000 fine that Indiana also incurred. And he claimed that they didn't talk to any doctors or team members. The thing is, this time next year, we're all expecting the Jazz to be in the middle of the playoff hunt, Lloyd. Like,
absolutely.
This is not, like, the Jazz don't care.
No, they need that protected pick.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're all about the playoffs. Do you think the Jazz want no, they've never been about not being in the playoffs. There is bad ownership. It has not been ever the Millers or
SEG.
Ryan Smith or SEG.
Yeah.
It is never that is not what they're about. They want to bring a championship to Salt Lake City. They want to bring a championship to Utah. That's what they want to do. And if you think they're just like, no, that is good ownership right there.
Yeah, like they went down to the bottom because they realized that that's the way to do it. They've made the trades. They had
to reset. Things didn't work out with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They had a little window there. They weren't able to get it done.
Yeah,
and they had to reset. And they haven't had to do it very much. They haven't had to be in this position.
It's been reset.
Yes.
And now, so you mentioned the changes that are coming. Nobody's really want to tank next year because the 2027 class.
And we talk about all these teams that have tanked, and it's like there are serial tankers. There are serial tankers, and it's not the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
So, this whole thing with Adam Silver really did. It was upsetting. He's like, really?
Yeah.
Because the Jazz, they went about it a different way, and the bottom line was it came down to gambling companies. That's what it came down to. It impacted Lauri Markkanen's playing. Okay, that's going to change the odds. Oh, he's out. All of a sudden, that changes the outcome of a game.
Sure.
Didn't against Miami, but whatever.
Yeah.
But so that's what it comes down to. That's what it came down to. That it upset gambling companies. And here we are. And they made an example out of the Jazz. Tony Jones, by the way, just had a piece that he wrote about this. I haven't finished reading it with The Athletic. Yeah. He's got a piece on this exact thing. Like the Jazz have done it. They went about it they're going about it the right way. They're doing what's best for them.
And, well, here's the thing. I think it was Brian Windhorst was on ESPN today. His tune has changed. He's like, I'm not going to blame anybody for tanking at this point. It's like, well, hold on. Not even 2 weeks ago, like 10 days ago, you were part of the contingent that was ripping into the Jazz saying they're affecting the integrity of the game. That was the Bobby Marks quote. But
right.
It's like, guys, understand that the Jazz, they're the least of your worries.
All of their tunes have changed.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. Yeah. For the most part, their tunes have changed.
Implement all your rules, all your anti-tanking measures, and the best part is the Utah Jazz.
Enjoy it for a year because it's going to look like it worked for a year, maybe two. I don't know what.
Next
down the line, we'll see how it goes. But when you have a deep class, let's really see how those rules play out. Let's see how they work.
And the hope is the Utah Jazz are nowhere near having to deal with any of that for the foreseeable
and they
future.
Shouldn't be.
Correct.
They shouldn't be for the foreseeable future.
They should be
because they are set up to start winning.
Yeah,
and that should, by the way, that should have Jazz fans stoked about the future.
Hey, you should be, because looking like next year that this is a team that very clearly is going to push for, at worst, play-in territory. Not,
I'd say better. I think it's better than play-in territory, and then you have to see. I mean, it could be even better. I think as of right now, I would say it's better than play-in territory, and let's see what they do in the offseason.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we'll see how it all plays out. All right, coming up next, we're going to go back to the Mammoth. They are in action tonight, resuming the regular season after a 3-week break for the Olympics. We're going to hear from Andre Tierney as well as some Mammoth players ahead of tonight's game. They spoke at Morning Skate earlier this morning. We'll get to that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether you're stuck in the office,
I believe you have my stapler,
in your car, or at your in-laws.
You want a piece of me? You bet I do.
The Zone is with you every step of the way. Download the KSL Sports app to get live streaming of your favorite shows and access to all the latest updates on your favorite teams. Your home for the best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If you've gained 20, 30, or even 40 pounds over the past few years, listen to this. After age 40, your body naturally loses muscle and your metabolism slows down. That's why the weight keeps creeping up and the diets that used to work don't work anymore. JJ here for Salt Lake City Fat Loss. If you're considering weight loss injections, like GLP-1 injections, there's something important you need to know. Research shows a significant portion of the weight loss may come from muscle, which can slow your metabolism even more and make long-term weight loss control harder. Plus, those medications can cost $3,000 to $5,000 per year and require weekly injections and long-term dependency. At Salt Lake City Fat Loss, they take a different approach. Their doctor-developed program helps men and women lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 60 days, safely and naturally. No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. Instead, they use real food to protect muscle, reset your metabolism, and help your body burn fat, not muscle. Schedule a free 15-minute phone consultation. Go to slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Life is busy and honestly, sometimes a little chaotic. Between work, school drop-offs, sports, and everything in between, some days feel completely upside down. Dinner used to be one of the hardest parts of my day. Now, it's the easiest. When life feels upside down, Beehive Meals helps keep me grounded with home-cooked freezer meals that are ready when I am. No planning, no scrambling, just real food my family loves. Head to beehivemeals.com and stock your freezer with your solution to easy, delicious dinners and a little peace of mind.
It's coming, the 11th Annual Salt Lake Off-Road and Outdoor Expo, this Friday and Saturday. 5 halls full of eye-popping side-by-sides, 4x4s, SEMA builds, trophy trucks, and display vehicles from mild to wild. Expo specials on parts, tools, gear, and cool accessories. $40,000 in prize drawings this Friday and Saturday at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets, $14, kids under 12 free. Sponsored by R1 Industries and Sound Warehouse.
97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once?
You're listening to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back to Scotty G and Friends here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Jake Hatch, sitting in for Scotty G. All right, Utah Mammoth back in action tonight at the Delta Center. The Colorado Avalanche are in town. 25 games to go in the regular season. Obviously, the Mammoth looking to make the playoffs this year, and looking like they're in prime position to do just that, sitting in the first wild card slot currently when it comes to the Western Conference. They have got maybe the most competitive division in the NHL, speaking of the Central Division, and they got a major opportunity on their hands here. And obviously coming off this Olympic break, Clayton Keller, fresh off winning a gold medal with Team USA, he sat down with the media, or at least stepped to the podium today to address the media at morning skate, talking obviously about his experience over in Milan in the Olympics, more importantly, as the Mammoth get back on the ice tonight, looking to make that stretch run and make it a successful one. Here's Clayton Keller from earlier today.
Welcome back and congratulations. An Olympic gold medal with Team USA. What are your favorite memories and what did you learn participating at the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, it was such an incredible experience. So thankful to be a part of that team. Those are memories that'll last a lifetime, and just such a great group of, coaches and the players. Like, I learned so much being around those guys, and, just how everyone was so bought in. And, those are things that, will help me down the road, and just super thankful, like, to be a part of it and to win.
What were the last few days like?
Not much sleep, that's for sure. But, super fun. Like, how much support, like, in Miami was crazy. We were all kind of shocked at, just how much, people cared and, were supporting us. Like, it was, something I'll never forget for sure.
There was a photo of you and your mom and your brother, and your mom's wearing the gold medal. Can you just explain what having your family there was like for you, obviously through the process, but also who else was there to support you in person? Yeah,
it was great. She's, a main reason of why I'm where I'm at today, and, all those sacrifices, my brother as well, like, they've all done so much for me, and I'm so thankful and blessed to have them there. And one of my great friends from growing up came with and kind of hung out with my family the whole time, got to spend some time with him and, connect more. So it was just an unbelievable experience, and, all those people mean the world to me.
When you look back on this experience decades from now, what are the things that'll stand out the most when you remember it?
Oh man, I think so many things, but I think like the brotherhood of that team, and like how we did everything together. Like, it seemed like in the village, everyone's door was always open. Like, just it had that feeling about the team, and it was something that you want to be a part of, and you want to win with a group like that, because, that's something that, will last a lifetime. I'm sure we'll have, reunions and get-togethers and lots of parties from it. So, super, super cool.
What do you think young Keller would think about being on the first USA team to win gold in 46 years?
I don't know. It's a good question. Like, I've always dreamed big and expected big things out of myself. So, to see some of them come true is super special, and like writing everything down at a young kid paid off, and it's super cool, and I'm still more motivated than ever, and it's you enjoy it, and then you want to do it again, you want to win, you want to be a part of a winning team, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Your jump members of that 1980 team kind of obviously rally around. They were at the Olympics, whatnot. Did any of them have message of congratulations or words of advice or wisdom to you guys as a group? Yeah, I mean, Mikey Ruzioni was down there. We saw him actually the night before the gold medal game, and I had known him a little bit previously, just with the BU connection. But, he kind of talked to us a little bit after dinner, and shared some of his experiences and things like that. Wished us, so much luck, and super cool to have support from a guy like that, and a guy that had won before at the biggest stage, and so it was super cool.
You're jumping right back into the season, playing at Colorado tonight. With these games against the Avalanche and the Mammoth, it's only been 1 goal differentials in each one of the 3. What has allowed these games to be so close, and what does your team need to do to get the win?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're one of the top teams in the league, and, they're hard to play against, but I think so are we, and they're always, fun games to be a part of. It's, back and forth, and like you said, maybe 1 goal here and there. So I'm looking forward to tonight and being back at the Delta.
What was it like coming back here with your teammates, getting back out there with them?
Yeah, it was great. Great to see everyone. It's, a long time away. Miss the boys, and it's great to be back, and they all said congratulations, and we're super happy for me, so it definitely means a lot.
Does Jack Hughes smile better with or without teeth?
I think without right now, for sure. I'd ride that for a while.
Sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
How much of a sense of patriotism just was there amongst the guys after you won?
Yeah, so much, and I think that's shows why USA Hockey is, the best. And, we're so, thankful to represent your country, and just like, especially his interview was amazing for, a guy that's 24 years old. Like, that's pretty good. And he's such a great kid, and someone that's fun to be around, and has always been a good friend of mine since I met him, when he first came into the league. Like, super special human.
With wins for USA Hockey on both the men's and women's side, what does that do for young kids that are, looking for inspiration growing up?
Yeah, I think it inspires the next wave of hockey players. Maybe kids that don't play hockey might get into it now. And I remember all the memories of watching it as a kid. Looking up to those guys. Obviously the TJ Oshie moment is pretty cool. Watching Miracle, like to have something like recently is amazing, and it's going to do so many good things, and it's special for sure. And like I said, thankful to be a part of it.
Clayton, you've been a USA Hockey lifer since you were 16. When you think back about all the times you've worn the red, white, and blue, what are you most proud of?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think so many things, but I've been lucky to win a couple: U18, U20, Men's Worlds, Olympics. I think me and Tage are one of the first two to do that. So. That's super cool, and just like you remember the guys, the relationships you build, representing your country, like we all love it so much, and I think it really shows.
Has it sunk in what it really meant to everyone else in the nation as well?
Maybe not fully. I mean, getting to Miami and then obviously the party that night, like it was crazy, and we did like a parade around, like a smaller parade around Miami, and people were kind of going crazy in restaurants. At our hotel there was 200 people lined up when we were walking out, like just chanting USA, so it was pretty cool.
How was DC?
DC was great. Yeah, it was cool to see the White House, and that's maybe once in a lifetime thing, so it was great to do that. And yeah.
Tell us the intensity of those games in Milan. Does that make you even more excited for potentially playoff hockey here in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, for sure. I think those, like I said, those are the most fun games when the pressure's on the line, and so many guys stepped up. Like it's cool to share that experience with them, and the more you go through it, the more I guess comfortable you are, and more confidence that you have in those games.
Do they feel a lot different than NHL games?
Yes, I think so, for sure. I think they felt super fast. I think like every shift was high intensity, and kind of both teams doing whatever it takes, really. So I think that's one thing I'll say for sure.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you.
There you go, Clayton Keller. And Lloyd, we have a new name for the home of the Mammoth, just coined by Clayton there. I don't know if anybody ever heard that. Have you ever heard of them calling it the Delta?
The Delta. I love going to the Delta. I'm going to the Delta tonight.
The Delta. Are you really going to the game?
Yes.
Good for you, dude.
Yeah, we're having a boys' night out.
Nice. But I love the fact that he got that experience, because he talks about the fact that he's going to be connected with these guys forever. Because I'll admit, Sunday night, so my son, I don't know how he came across. He came across the scene in the movie Miracle of them obviously celebrating the win over the USSR, the Soviet Socialist Republic. He's like, "Hey, Dad, can we watch that?" I'm like, "Say no more." So we turned on Miracle on Sunday night and watched it, and we got done. He's like, "Yeah, that was that." And
we did the same thing maybe a week before.
Okay.
Probably about a week before. I think it was not Sunday, but the previous weekend.
Yeah.
We watched it. I said, you know what? I hadn't even thought about it. My boys love sports.
Uh-huh.
My boys love sports movies.
Sure.
And I hadn't even thought about Miracle. We had been watching some of these hockey games, and
Correct.
I'm like, you know what? Let's watch it. What do you say? Let's watch a little Miracle.
And, well, I'll just say this. So we watched that, and then obviously they go out there Sunday and win the gold medal. And it was really cool because my son, I freely admit, I'm a football and basketball guy because those are the sports I grew up with. Golf also a little bit. Like, those are the sports I grew up with. Hockey was not part of my life growing up, and I'm still very much learning this sport. But I always knew about the 1980 Miracle team. Like, everybody knows that, and obviously it has a connection with the 2002 Olympics because they had the team like the Cauldron over at Rice Eccles Stadium. But my son is really starting to, like, hockey's kind of his thing. He turns on the Mammoth. I don't have to be home, and he's watching that.
I have boys that are chomping at the bit about hockey. about doing something hockey, getting involved with something hockey, which there are more and more. I know Scotty and I were talking about it yesterday. There are more and more programs that are, and there's going to be more to come to get the youth involved with hockey, and like they're chomping. They like that's what they want to do. So that's what they want to play hockey.
Sunday he wasn't up to see the overtime. He was still sleeping when it all went down. And he saw the highlight later of them scoring in overtime. He's like, "Dad, it's a miracle!" Like they did the same thing. I'm like, "Yeah, they did the exact same thing." And he was floored at it. And that's the cool thing about what Clayton Keller's gonna have this connection forever with.
Absolutely.
There's only
even
3 U.S.
You got
teams.
A little bit of time, but it's always. I mean that camaraderie that he talked about, that being a part of that moment. I mean, they hadn't won since 1980. Like being that part of history is something that is special, and now that he's a part of that history, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I love the fact that he got that experience, and obviously he's going to hopefully parlay that experience into a strong restart, I guess, of the season here. But let's catch up with his head coach, Andre Tierney, head coach of the Utah Mammoth. Obviously, they've had some significant time off. They essentially treated this week plus they've been practicing as a miniature training camp, and then all the stories coming out of it were that they were trying new lineups, just trying to get guys to figure things out. But now it's go time. So here's Andre Tierney's thoughts as they get ready to face off against the Avalanche tonight.
There we go, back to work, eh? That's good. We have a few game time decision. We'll see what the afternoon brings. So lineup is not set yet. So.
What are some of the things this team needs to focus on and be mindful of in their first game in 3 weeks?
Yeah, for us, I think there's a mix here, and it's important to not cross the line of, okay, we play a really good team and they have stuff we need to be careful. But at the same time, we need to play our game. So it's more about playing our game, get back to our identity, our pace defensively, being aggressive, being confident, and all that. So it's important we don't just focus on them. It's not like when you're rolling and, okay, now you can be a little bit more specific. At this point, I think we need to make sure we play our A game.
When it comes to this series, 3 games, all decided by one goal. What has led to these tight battles between the Mammoth and the Avalanche?
Yeah, I think we have the speed to play with them. It's an extremely fast team. Really talented, all of it. It's well documented, but I think we played good games so far against them, and that's just 4 years now where we can compete. We play good defense. It's a team who generates a ton of offense. So if you play good defense, you give yourself a chance. So. Like I said, we need to get back at our A game and focusing on that, and we know exactly the key point against them.
Noticed Carconia wasn't out there today. Is maintenance or something?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we went through the list the other day of Colorado Avalanche players at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Do you think that will affect them positively or negatively in a game like this?
I don't know.
Jet lag and fatigue.
Yeah.
And stuff.
It's all that. If I knew the answer, I guess I would be easy, but I don't know. That they will have a boost, get back with their friends, get back with their team. The same thing for Kels, for us, for JJ, and all those guys who are at the Olympics. They come back, they're excited. Okay, great. But will it be a positive and negative? We'll have the answer soon.
You mentioned Keller coming back. What was it like getting him back with the team on the ice?
No, that was good to see his smile and. Talk to him a little bit before and his experience, and didn't go too much in depth because it's game day. But like I told him, I want to pick his brain. There's a ton of things when you do those tournaments, and that's what he shared with me. You learn a ton. I often make the joke, it's university on steroid. That's what it is, because you learn from the teammate who's with you. You learn from the coach who's teaching you things. You learn from the competition. You learn a ton of things. A new language you didn't hear, a new trick on the ice, a new skill, a new system phase. You learn a ton. Every time I had the opportunity to do a short-term tournament, you coach with elite coach. And so you learn from those guys, and those guys teach the player. They bring a lot on the table, and same thing for the player. You have the opponent's coach guy who won Stanley Cup or been really successful, played 1,000 game in the league. Those guys, they know their stuff, so they share a lot of information. We're all in the common goal, so now it's a lot of information sharing, so you learn a ton. So talked to Oli on the ice this morning, talked to JJ, Veg, Cal's this morning. It's a lot of new information, and it's pretty cool.
Just the fact that you've had a little over a week and a half to kind of work on all the little details that you want to work on after the break. What have you liked about this last week in terms of the focus and the elements you're looking to kind of elevate the rest of the way?
Yeah, it's funny. I talked to another coach in the league yesterday, and it's an experienced coach. There's no book for that kind of a break. There's no blueprint. We've never been in the break that long, halfway in the season. So we think we did good. I think the guys did work hard and everything. But at the end of the day, we'll have our answer tonight, and it'll be the same across the league. I think I'm sure 32 teams tried to do their best to be as prepared. We're really confident in what we did, and we're confident in our guys having the right focus.
17-8-2 on home ice this year.
Okay.
14 home games left, and 5 of the last 6 games this season are at home. I know you're living in the day-to-day, but why does this team excel on home ice?
Well, that's a good question. It's probably not one reason. I think matchup help. I think our crowd help a lot. I will assume there were a stretch of the season where the schedule was not in our favor in terms of was really, really condensed. We were on the road, so that did not help. When we were at home, we had a better schedule. So it can be a lot of factor. At the end of the day, what I want to believe is we have that pride to play at home, and our crowd make it a big difference. And I think we understood after the break, Christmas break, how important it was for us to have a great month and to put us in the position we wanted to be at the Olympic break. We are. Now we need to keep going. The next step is probably the trade deadline, and then it will be the end of the season. So there's always a new objective. As soon you touch one, you move on to the next one, and it's a race. It's 82 games. We had a hell of a break. I'm sure everywhere around the league we'll have a lot of a healthy team. It will be a great competition until the end.
Andre, there's a lot of levels of growth in players, I would imagine, in terms of over the career.
Yep.
Clayton just got back from an unbelievable experience. How do you want to see him carry all of that goodness from Milan and just continue to grow as a leader with this group?
Well, I think he did. I said that before. I think he does a really good job as a leader. His compete level, his desire to be better every day, it's driving force in our team, and that's really important because, like I just mentioned, 82 games, you can get on the cruise control and you can get just comfortable and just go through the motion. And that kind of a guy, that kind of a leader gets you out of that. Because for him, there's no comfort zone. There's always, he wants the next gear. He wants the next level all the time, and he always strives to get better. And first thing he told me when I talked to him this morning, it's how much he learned out there, and that was his first thing. He could have talked to me about plenty of things, the Olympic experience of the gold medal or so on and so forth. And he talked to me about how much he learned and how much he's excited to apply that teaching and that learning into his game and everything. So that is what he brings to our team. He's never satisfied. He always wants more, and he dragged the team into that mode. Thanks, everyone.
There's the guy they call the Bear, Andre Tierney, the head coach of the Utah
Bear.
Mammoth.
You got to be a tough SOB to be a Bear.
Well, you can kind of tell he's a guy that, as I understand it, he is very much a player's coach, but he also is a guy you don't cross. And I think there's a respect factor there, and he's got his team in prime position right now for a stretch run that should be very exciting. The one thing I'm looking forward to here, Lloyd, is obviously the Utah Jazz. We know that they're not gunning for the playoffs. That's next season. But the nice part is, if things hold for the Mammoth here, we're going to have playoff hockey this spring, which obviously we were hoping they might be able to accomplish last year. Came a little bit short of that. So we get playoff hockey this year. And then, in theory, next year, if everything goes according to plan with the Utah Jazz and the Mammoth, playoff Central here in Salt Lake City.
April, if we're looking at how it's shaping up for next year, like April next year is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. But yes, you're right. We're talking right now. The Mammoth are sitting in the wild card spot, 1 point better than the Ducks. Yeah, 1 point better than the Ducks.
Yep, Anaheim.
Hold on to that one as far as that top wild card spot, and that it's wild card for them. Yeah. They are 13 points back behind Dallas. Like, there's no way they're catching anybody in the Central. Yeah, that Central is so good.
The top 3 teams in the West are the 3 Central Division top teams.
Yeah. Avalanche being one of them. Yeah. And that is why, I mean, we talked about it earlier. That's why these points are so valuable. I just hope that we don't look, they don't. I don't even hardly want to put it out into the universe, but I don't want the Mammoth to look back and be like, man, if we would have gotten this one and that one. Yeah. We're looking at that game where they gave up 3 goals on that East Coast triple. Was that Carolina? Who was that?
Oh,
why am I going blank on who it was? It was
that. You are right.
It was Carolina, right?
Yeah.
It was against Carolina.
Yep.
That game where they had it. I mean, it was 4-2, and you're thinking, okay. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're not even going to get a point.
It's 5-4.
And that point, and we talked about those points are valuable in this, in the season. They are so valuable to get because as we talked about, you don't get those points, when you're just sitting idle. You have to play games to get points. And that's actually, by the way, is really pretty cool about the NHL. It's not like that. You can't. You have to earn it. You have to earn that trip to the Stanley Cup playoffs. You don't get to luck your way into it and have a bunch of people behind you lose and fall into it. No, you have to really earn those points to get there.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, this league, and speaking of Andre Tierney, he referred to it. So 32 teams, they're going for it now, and he doesn't expect anybody to yield an inch, nor should they, because the playoff structure as it's constituted, it does reward you if you get on a hot run here, and there's enough time for teams to make up some ground. And you and I referenced it earlier on in today's show. The point structure in the NHL, man, you can go up and down real quick.
It would be nice to see the Mammoth go on like a St. Louis Blues type run like they went on last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that run was so insane. I mean, the Mammoth were right there with the Blues, and they blew right by them.
That's what prevented the Mammoth from getting to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, maybe they had a hot streak going in before the Olympic break with, only those 2 losses that they had on that East Coast trip to Carolina, and I don't remember what the other one was, but where they ended up suffering 2 losses.
Yeah.
But it still was a hot streak. They came back and they righted the ship and got a win before the Olympic break. And the big question is, and I know Bill Armstrong, who joins, Scott Gerard every Tuesday, talked about it. Like, I got a little bit sleep. I'm hoping they come back and we picked up right where we left off. Had some sleepless nights.
Correct.
Because they had some momentum, and you don't want to lose that momentum.
You don't. And in some ways, that 3-week break, you were like, well, this is a bad time for them to take that break. Because they were
totally
rolling.
was. It was a bad time.
But now you got to restart, and you just got to you focus on the here and now, and that's obviously.
And that's what, by the way, that's what good teams do. You're able to restart it and kick it back up.
Correct.
Like, it doesn't really matter. And I feel like it feels like the Mammoth have taken that next step where sure, they're not a top team, but they're right there. They're learning how to win games. They're learning how to, when they have a lead, they're learning how to protect the lead. Well, I say that after we got to talking about that Carolina game, but for the most part,
by and
they
large,
really have learned to close out games.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a good job with doing that.
And you have your superstar center coming back, and Logan Cooley, Alexander Kerfoot's back. Reinforcements are here, so we'll see how it all goes.
They're fairly healthy.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. All right, coming up next, we're going to spin the wheel, sports roulette, and some stories out there involving Big 12 teams that we need to hit on. So we'll get to that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I am certainly looking forward to when this phase of Jazz basketball is over. And I would never say they do this intentionally, but I do think that the vibe of trying to lose affects the players in this sense, Ben. They were mopping the floor with the Grizz in the first half.
Yep.
It was just a completely different team in the second half. And by the way, the team the Grizz threw out there wasn't exactly all NBA. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't.
I'm thinking they're going to accidentally win this thing.
That's why
it's gotta suck.
As I've said, these close losses that we pretend are good for something, it's not real. None of this is real. It just doesn't matter at all. It matters as soon as Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Lowry Markkanen, Keontae George are on the floor together. And then do you fit with that group or do you not? Because if you don't, they're not going to care about you. Their job is not to like you as a person. Their job is to win basketball games, and that's what they're trying to figure out.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The KSL Sports Zone is your home for live local sports. Tonight, the Utah Mammoth are back after a long Olympic break. They host the Colorado Avalanche, the best team in the West, 7 o'clock on 97.5 The Zone. And college hoops, Utah State at San Diego State. They have played some great games over the years. That one tips off at 9 o'clock on 1280 The Zone. And if you want to reach thousands of potential customers and extend your brand, if you want to hear your company's name right here, email Stephanie Palmer at spalmer@ksl.com and join the winning team at the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready for unbeatable deals? At Tim Daly Nissan Southtown, drive home a new Sentra starting at just $19,900. Need more space? Get up to $9,000 off new Pathfinders. Or grab a rugged Frontier for as low as $399 a month. With 99% approval, 0 down, and 90 days until your first payment. There's never been a better time to buy. Plus, every vehicle comes with a Tim Daly Forever warranty. Only at Tim Daly Nissan Southtown.
Hey guys, Alex Curie here. Are you considering GLP-1 injections for weight loss? Before you get started, let me ask you this. Are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 a year and stay on the medication long-term to maintain those results? Many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots, and when the medication stops, weight regain is common. And here's something most people don't realize. Research shows a significant portion of the weight loss can come from muscle, which may slow your metabolism and make keeping that weight off even tougher to do. At SLC Fat Loss, they take a different approach. Their doctor-developed program helps men and women lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 60 days, safely and naturally. No injections, no synthetic hormones, no long-term dependence. Instead, they use real food to reset that metabolism, control that hunger and cravings the natural way, and help your body burn fat and not muscle. That's why thousands of clients have trusted SLC Fat Loss for real, lasting results. And right now, you can schedule a free 15-minute phone consultation to see if that program is right for you. There's no pressure, but availability is limited. And if you want a safe, affordable alternative to weight loss injections, go to slcfatloss.com to keep the weight off for good. That's slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
It's coming, the 11th Annual Salt Lake Off-Road and Outdoor Expo, this Friday and Saturday. 5 halls full of eye-popping side-by-sides, 4x4s, SEMA builds, trophy trucks, and display vehicles from mild to wild. Expo specials on parts, tools, gear, and cool accessories. $40,000 in prize drawings this Friday and Saturday at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets $14, kids under 12 free. Sponsored by R1 Industries and Sound Warehouse.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Listen every Monday morning to DJ and PK and Monday afternoon with JJ and Alex for your Chevy Strong Play of the Game. Win great prizes from Rocky Mountain Chevy.
This is a Utah Jazz at 30 update on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Utah Jazz 30 update. Lauri Markkanen reportedly needs an MRI in his ankle and his hip. That coming from our Utah Jazz insider Ben Anderson. Obviously, his status going forward for the Utah Jazz will be in question. They are back in action tomorrow night as they will host the New Orleans Pelicans at the Delta Center at 7 o'clock tip-off in that game. This update brought to you by University of Utah Health. For you, for life.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Step inside, walk this way, you and me, babe. Hey, hey!
Welcome back to Friends on the KSL Sports Zone. I'm glad you.
I like it.
I'm glad you.
I like
that.
it.
Has our boy heard it yet? Is Scotty aware of it?
I don't know. I think he just landed, so maybe he's listening. Possibly.
That's
maybe
awesome.
He's not.
Well done. Obviously,
I do it anyways. Doesn't matter whether he's listening or not.
Very good point. Welcome back. I'm Jake Hatch, sitting in for Scotty G. He is en route to San Diego. Obviously, Utah State, San Diego State tonight down there at Viejas Arena. Essentially, the MWC Mountain West Conference Championship on the line tonight between those two. Be a 9 o'clock tip-off. That'll be an 8:30 pregame on 1280 a.m. Obviously, it'll be finishing up on both signals once the Mammoth game wraps up on 97.5. All right, Lloyd, we got a handful of things we want to hit on. Okay, so I know you're a big baseball guy. You're a Giants fan. I'm a Mariners fan. But there is another team on the West Coast that's got a very strong fan base, and that's the Los Angeles Angels.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's the Mariners. Are they going to bring up the Mariners? I thought this was going to be your shameless plug for your team, the Seattle Mariners.
The runners-up in the World Series.
Shoulda.
Just kidding.
Coulda.
I know. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. But anyways, we'll see what the M's do. But one of their division rivals, Los Angeles Angels, Artie Moreno. Obviously, he's owned the team for a long time. He does have a World Series title from very early on in his tenure of owning the team, but it's been lackluster at best is probably the kindest thing to say. Did you see this quote from him this week about fans? Oh, this is good. You're gonna. All right, so this comes from the OC Register. Quote: This is what Artie
PK's old gig, right? Wasn't he with the OC Register at one point? No,
that's
maybe not.
That's Southern California News Group.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
I couldn't remember.
So here's the thing: Artie Moreno of the Angels said this quote: "The number one thing that fans want is affordability. They want affordability. They want safety, and they want a good experience when they come to the ballpark. Believe it or not, this is the kicker, winning is not in their top 5, unquote."
Wait, say that again. Well,
so
read that again
This
for
is
me.
what Artie Moreno, the Los Angeles Angels owner, this is what he believes that fans want. The number one thing that fans want is affordability. I agree with him on that. Affordability is a big deal when it comes to going to sporting events in this day and age, obviously. He has the second time. They want affordability, they want safety, and they want a good experience when they come to the ballpark. Then this kicker, believe it or not, winning is not in their top 5, unquote.
Huh. That's interesting.
You're telling fans that winning doesn't matter, Artie?
Okay.
Whew. Well, yeah, so my in-laws are from Southern California, Orange County. Let's get Scotty's thought. Is Scotty here? We got him on. Okay, Scott Gerard.
We have one of the friends of the show.
We got one of the friends of the show. He also might be the host of the show from time to time. Scotty G checking in. He's a friend of the show. Scotty, what's up?
I feel like I've earned that.
You have.
Well, actually, no. Delta's earned that.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I'm gonna. No, Lloyd. Like. Okay. I know that I'm already on Lloyd's bad side when I didn't even get a have a blessed day. It just went silent for a good chunk of the day.
You didn't get blessed. Have a blessed day. Wow.
No.
You have to earn have a blessed day.
I think I'm a little further down the line than that.
You don't even get a blessed day.
Oh, jeez.
That is way down.
Wow, silence treatment. Huh? That's okay. Scott.
No, hey, busy. I'm planning a show.
So, Scotty, you're down there in San Diego, obviously in Southern California. Did you hear the quote I just read from Artie Moreno?
And that's the Angels owner?
Yeah, it's the Angels owner. Artie Moreno's owned the team for 25-some-odd years, if not more than that.
Yeah.
He's considered selling the team at different points in recent years. My in-laws were season ticket holders for the Angels for years when they lived down in Southern California, and they're still proud Angels fans. I'm telling you right now, I could send a text to my father-in-law, and he would respond with probably a string of expletives about that quote.
Well, I think that there's some teams. I mean, when you've had the talent that have gone through that organization and really, I mean, you guys know baseball better than I. How much effort was made to retain the big guns that have gone through there?
Well, Shohei essentially put the writing on the wall.
That he walked.
Yeah, I'm going to go about how far away is Chavez Ravine from the Angels Stadium? Like 20 miles, maybe?
Yeah, I've got to get my buddy paid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good point.
Oh, yeah.
So
you got gambling debts to pay.
Really, the one guy he's held on to is Mike Trout. And I am floored that Mike Trout has been willing to watch what could be a Hall of Fame career have like zero postseason success. And
well, I think you're looking at essentially there's been a lot of NBA teams that have ran that way. I mean,
Fair.
when Sterling was running the Clippers,
yes,
he didn't really care about wins or losses. It was a moneymaker for him, and that's all that really mattered. And I think it would actually really surprise a lot of people if they knew how little winning actually mattered to a lot of owners out there. They want a profit center, and they want to turn a profit. The fact that he's as vocal as that's not great.
Yeah,
but honestly, it's unfortunately not surprising that he would think that.
Yeah, winning is really not that important. Way to go, dude. And here's the thing. I was in Las Vegas last weekend, 2 weekends ago, drove past the new Angels ballpark. Their owner has been very clear that he's in it for profit. Like, that's not – he hasn't invested in the A's at all, and that new stadium's obviously supposed to be a cash cow for him. But, yeah, to your point, Artie Moreno, man, putting your foot in it like that, man, crazy. All right, Scotty, the other thing, big news obviously here on the local front. Lauri Markkanen reportedly, according to Ben Anderson, a report also from the Salt Lake Tribune, he needs an MRI on his ankle and foot. There's also reports maybe a hamstring injury here. Have we infected the integrity of the game enough now?
No, because this is the right way. This is the old school. This is the accepted way to tank. See, the Jazz wanted you as a viewer of the Utah Jazz to have the best of both worlds.
Yep.
They wanted you to see your star players, and then they wanted to lose games. So you got to see Lauri and Jaren Jackson and Yusuf and his broken nose. You got to see him for a half or three quarters, and then shut it down, lose a game. But now you don't get any of that. So no, you don't get to enjoy that. You just got to enjoy the losing right now, because that's the only way that you can. That's the acceptable way to tank games.
This is phenomenal work, by the way, by the Utah Jazz. Yusuf, that septum that's deviated, go get that taken care of. Obviously, the whole thing with Jaren Jackson, they already knew about apparently this growth on his knee when he was traded to the Jazz. He wanted to play at least one home game, shut him down. Now we got Lauri Markkanen being shut down. Okay, this is conspiracy theory Jake stepping into the fray. What's Keontae George going to come down with next?
Hangnail.
Oh, okay.
Mononucleosis.
Good
nice.
Poll. Good poll, Lloyd.
Hey, you know what? We ought to, and I know that, Lloyd, you were with another show that got in trouble for this, but I don't think we'd be out of bounds in like actually doing like a poll to what the injury will be for Keontae George.
Oh, jeez.
Because we know it's not really going to be real. Like, we're not anticipating that it's going to be an actual illness or an actual injury.
They can just lean on his ankle that he dinged up, 2-3 weeks ago, and still just claim that that's continuing to flare up.
It's why I always felt bad for our guy Rodney Hood that always had gastric distress. Like, man, give that guy something else.
Yeah.
Give him mononucleosis. It's anything but gastric distress.
Yeah, they're like, all right, we'll sit you out, but you're going to feel the pain on this one for sure. All right, so Jake, are you going ankle?
Well, I'm just thinking, like, if they want to just make it easy on him, they can just say the ankle is flaring back up and shut him down that way.
Yeah, that's their easy out. That's the easy out is something that's already a little bit banged up.
If they want to be original, Mono's a good one. Mono's a good pull.
I'm gonna go hammy.
Okay.
Give me hamstring for 200.
Hey, hammies are tricky.
They are.
Yeah, I know.
Hammies are tricky.
Yeah,
They're
very.
touchy. You can't mess with them at all.
Yeah, anybody who's ever pulled a hamstring can tell you that you deal with it how you deal with it.
And it's easily hideable with an MRI. Like you say, well, he still feels pain. Well, it looks good here. Well, yeah, you know how it is. It feels a little tight. And if he says it feels tight, we can't get him out there.
How's the Achilles with the MRI?
Ooh, you know what? That feels like you're playing with fire there.
Little fire? Okay.
Like
I'm just wondering. Because we know how any Achilles strain of any sort, at least if they play, see you later.
Okay, so
a la Pacers.
You guys didn't hear DJ the other morning talking about Tyrese Halliburton, did you? I did not hear that. So Tyrese Halliburton is out with the Achilles injury that he suffered, obviously, in the run last year. Well, he came down with shingles. And so DJ was like joking about this whole thing about shingles, and I'm like, he was like, "Well, how does it happen?" I'm like, "Well, it comes from the chickenpox virus," and like it stopped DJ dead in his tracks. Well, I've had the chickenpox. I'm like, well, therefore you are a candidate yourself.
You could have shingles,
and he's
my
like,
friend.
I don't want to bring that down on me, so he stopped talking about it immediately. I'm like, good.
I remember chatting with Frank Layden, and I think we were out at the Utah Hall of Fame when they built that, and we were doing a show out there, and he had the shingles, and he said it was single-handedly the worst pain he's ever felt in his entire life.
It's bad news. So so to your point, you don't really want to mess with Achilles because you're bringing like bad juju on yourself or whoever the player because that one. That's a tough injury. So, real quick, Scotty, just wanted to get your thoughts on this. There's two things in the Big 12. So, Brennan Sorsby has been sued by Cincinnati, his former team, for $1 million as he has not paid his buyout to leave Cincinnati to join Texas Tech. Welcome to the new era.
Yep, good. And look, I don't care who pays it. Like, everybody talks about, well, if coaches can leave. Okay, people don't realize that coaches have buyouts.
Yes.
Now, the university will pay it, or somebody will pay it, or they give them a no-interest forgivable loan, or, there's a lot of ways you can do it. But that money still exchanges hands. So if you're going to say, well, we're just going to be like the coaches, then fine, but you got to pay the bill. Whether Sorsby pays it or not, or the university pays it, wherever he ends up. It's Texas Tech, right? Is where he ended up?
Yeah, so, and by the way, on this, it says, this is from The Athletic. According to the enforcement guidelines from the College Sports Commission, the CSC, which is kind of running all this stuff when it comes to NIL, the organization that oversees revenue sharing, his $1 million buyout must be accounted for by Texas Tech within their revenue cap for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
Okay. So, I mean, look, somebody's got to give them their money. Yeah. And because I think that's kind of, and I don't know soccer well enough, but that's kind of like, when you essentially buy a player off a club.
Transfer fee,
you give them a transfer fee, X amount of money, and which I'm okay with. If you're a player and you sign a 2-year contract and you have a $2 million buyout and somebody else wants you and is willing to pay that buyout, then you yourself as that university can then put that money towards another player.
Correct.
So I actually don't hate that.
And then,
if people actually follow through with it.
That's a good point. Yeah. So, but the lawsuit has been filed by Cincinnati, and according to this, also from The Athletic, apparently it's going to fall on Sorsby to actually pay it out. Speaking of Texas, they have to account for it. They actually don't have to pay it. They can essentially tell Sorsby, "Hey, you pay your money. Like you figure it out." So, very curious there. Also on the Big 12 front, Robert Livingston, who has been Colorado's defensive coordinator the past 2 seasons, he's leaving for the Denver Broncos.
Come on to the good side, folks.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, leaving the Buffs high and dry, as they've actually been somewhat decent on defense, but he's headed to join your guys in the orange and blue.
He knows how to pick a winner. That's right.
So, interested to see how Coach Prime figures this out.
I'm trying. You know what? I won't say anything more because I know Lloyd's already mad at me because of things that were outside of my control. But you know what? I hope that he does well. But that Denver defense isn't very good next year, so I would anticipate the Raiders should be able to, whoever's coaching.
There you go.
Go up and down the field on them. Is he smiling at all, or does he still have that angry look on his face?
It's a mixture of both.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm going to hear about this. All right.
Hey,
Jake.
I don't even know who should throw this to break. You want to throw it to break,
You
Jake?
got Fernando Mendoza coming your way,
How about
buddy.
it, Jake?
You got Fernando Mendoza coming your way. Just be happy.
Yeah.
We'll
you
see.
want to throw it to
see
break,
if it works
Jake?
out.
Why not?
It's all you, buddy.
Yeah, try it out.
Okay, well, more in a moment. Scotty G and friends right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I am certainly looking forward to when this phase of Jazz basketball is over. And I would never say they do this intentionally, but I do think that the vibe of trying to lose affects the players in this sense, Ben. They were mopping the floor with the Grizz in the first half.
Yep.
It was just a completely different team in the second half. And by the way, the team the Grizz threw out there wasn't exactly all NBA. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't.
I'm thinking like, oh, they're going to accidentally win this thing.
That's why
it's gotta suck.
As I've said, these close losses that we pretend are good for something, it's not real. None of this is real. It just doesn't matter at all. It matters as soon as Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Lowry Markkanen, and Keontae George are on the floor together. And then do you fit with that group or do you not? Because if you don't, they're not going to care about you. Their job is not to like you as a person. Their job is to win basketball games, and that's what they're trying to figure out.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hi, David James here for Soda Weight Loss. 2 weeks in, I am down 10 pounds. I am halfway to my goal, 50% of the way there. Why have I made such progress? Because Soda has put me in contact with a nutritionist who's got a program set up just for me. If I got to travel for a couple days, all kinds of tips to help make sure that I keep that sugar and sodium out of my diet, because that is why I gained the weight. The nutritionist is key. No shots, no pills, which is great because I don't want to take the shots and the pills. And also they're expensive. You want to be paying for that forever? Keep that money in your pocket. Learn how to eat right and exercise right. Take that knowledge and save money for a lifetime. Learn how to eat right with the help of a Soda nutritionist. You can find them online at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA, weightloss.com. Or call 866-800-SODA and talk to a nutritionist now. 866-800-SOTA, Soda Weight Loss. Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Tonight at 10, a new era of weight loss. 1 in 8 Americans have taken a GLP-1.
My body just was not changing.
We know how it impacts your scale, but how does it impact your mental well-being?
It has some real potential lifelong consequences.
KSL explores the ups and downs of GLP-1s.
You cannot believe the psychological impact of losing that weight.
I am really conflicted about these medications.
Beyond the Scale, weight loss meds, tonight at 10.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
DJ PK and John from J. Brooks Jewelers. John, whenever someone loses a parent or a grandparent, it's difficult. Things get passed down with inside the family. But if someone doesn't want a watch or a piece of jewelry, what's the next best step?
At J. Brooks Jewelers, we're happy to help you sort through such a collection of things to help you know what is real and what has value. Of course, repurposing the items for the family is always the best solution, but if no one loves or wants the piece, the estate experts at J. Brooks Jewelers can help guide you on the best way to handle the liquidation and, of course, in complete confidentiality. We have buyers all over the country that we've established to get the largest return possible for your jewelry, coins, or watches to retain as much money as possible for the family. So whether you want to repurpose and create a new heirloom or liquidate part or all of the estate, let me and my team help you decide the best way to proceed. Call and make an appointment today at J. Brooks Jewelers in Murray and Lehigh or online at jbrooksjewelers.com, your trusted custom and estate jeweler.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back to Friends
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Jake Hatch. Scotty G alongside. Scotty, did you hear the intro there? Is he there?
I just heard. Yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay.
Did he change it up?
Maybe made a slight edit.
What did you do?
He's gonna play here.
Hold on, let's see.
Oh,
what did we do here? Hold on. Bear with me. Gotta pull it up here. Oh, there it is.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends. Nice. This is Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We got a new open, Scotty. There you go.
Hey, I like it. I like it.
All
right. Hey, by the way, Jay, great job, man. I
Thank
appreciate you holding down the fort.
Absolutely happy to do it. Thanks for the invite.
Are
you gonna get your fish tacos while you're down there?
Probably not. I got to as soon as I get settled in here, I'm going to go and interview Coach and get ready for pregame, and then in a couple hours, head on over to the arena, call a game, and then a 6 a.m. flight back tomorrow, so I can be on the air at our good friends over at RGS and Tim and the crew, ready to
crossed
hang out with those guys because they're the best. And Kevin. And Lloyd,
well,
I'll be all right.
I'm just saying, fingers
it's
crossed.
The night flights that get you into trouble.
Absolutely.
We're gonna be okay.
You've heard the whole story
Let's
about.
not put that out there.
You know Brian Dunseth, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so do you know why he uses the whole thing about the whole first flight out deal is because he, to your point, Scotty, refuses to deal with flights later in the day. The chances of getting out, obviously, when you take that first flight of the day, very, very high. So that's literally, he will get up at all hours of the night to literally take those early flights.
Yeah. Yep. I've learned my lesson. So now what I'm going to do, Lloyd, is next year we're going to leave the morning of, get in time for the show, and do it from the hotel, and instead of leaving on the last flight out.
What is this? Your first year traveling?
That is not.
This sounds like a Gary Croton, Nevada situation.
What, are you just barely learning these things? Been traveling much?
You know what? I'm going to let you go. I'm gonna let you have your day. I totally get it. I know you're mad, and I understand. You have every right to be a little cranky. So I'm just gonna sit here and take it, and then when I get back in tomorrow, we'll. What would you like from San Diego? What can I bring you from San Diego?
I don't need anything from San Diego. I need my Scotty G. That's all I need. Just my Scotty G and friends. Scotty G and friends is all I need.
All right. Okay. I will be back tomorrow. But, yeah, by the way, Dunny's 1,000% correct. Morning flights, definitely the way to go. It sucks waking up at 5 a.m. or 4:30, but definitely worth it.
All right, Scotty.
Hey, good show today.
It was
good
fun.
Stuff.
You hang out, and thanks for doing what you do. And obviously, you have a good call tonight. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing how the Aggies perform against the Aztecs.
Yeah, fun one. Always fun when these two teams get after it. A lot of history between these guys. JJ and Alex coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hockey fans, let your voice be heard with the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum. Visit the Utah Mammoth page on KSLSports.com to connect with the team, other fans, and our KSL Sports insiders. Start chatting today in the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum on KSLSports.com. Stay up to date with everything Utah Jazz related with the new Jazz Notes newsletter. Get draft updates, analysis, and be the first to know about every off-season move. Visit KSLSports.com to sign up for the Jazz Notes newsletter.
Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, from preparing to serve to standing side by side, starting a life together. At every age, at every milestone, Mr. Mac helps you feel confident and prepared by showing up looking your best no matter where life takes you. Locally owned and operated for nearly 60 years. Mr. Mac, helping you look your best for all of life's events.
At University of Utah Health, we're mapping DNA to find the cause and the cure. Because 1 in a million is really Just one. One person facing one incredibly difficult diagnosis. Looking for one thing. Hope. Learn more at uofuhealth.org.
Life is busy and honestly, sometimes a little chaotic. Between work, school drop-offs, sports, and everything in between, some days feel completely upside down. Dinner used to be one of the hardest parts of my day. Now, it's the easiest. When life feels upside down, Beehive Meals helps keep me grounded with home-cooked freezer meals that are ready when I am. No planning, no scrambling, just real food my family loves. Head to beehivemeals.com and stock your freezer with your solution to easy, delicious dinners and a little peace of mind.
Pack up, though, because Chevy SUVs have the capability to take you to some incredible places, like an adventure in the middle of... In the Equinox Active, an SUV that will help you get away with confidence. Or head off for a night in Chevy Traverse, with all the tech you need to stay connected. While the undeniable value of Chevy Trax will keep you moving from here to over here to way over here. Get to all the places you want to be with Chevy SUVs. See your Rocky Mountain Chevy dealers.
Utah, you know sports, and nobody connects with fans like the KSL Sports Zone. Every day, our loyal listeners tune in for the latest on the Jazz and the Mammoth, Utes, Cougars, and Aggies, high school sports, all of it live and local. If you're a business owner looking to grow, this is your audience. Engaged, passionate, ready to respond. And when you combine the power of the zone with digital tools like social, display, streaming audio, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a smart, full-funnel strategy built for any budget. Tap into the energy of Utah sports fans and drive real results. Learn more at kslsports.com/advertise.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I am certainly looking forward to when this phase of Jazz basketball is over. And I would never say they do this intentionally, but I do think that the vibe of trying to lose affects the players in this sense, Ben. They were mopping the floor with the Grizz in the first half.
Yep.
It was just a completely different team in the second half. And by the way, the team the Grizz threw out there wasn't exactly all NBA. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't.
I'm thinking like, oh, they're going to accidentally win this thing.
That's why
it's got to suck.
As I've said, these close losses that we pretend are good for something, it's not real. None of this is real. It just doesn't matter at all. It matters as soon as Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, and Keontae George are on the floor together. And then do you fit with that group or do you not? Because if you don't, they're not going to care about you. Their job is not to like you as a person. Their job is to win basketball games, and that's what they're trying to figure out.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Just a bunch of guys sitting around and talking sports. This is Scotty G and friends.
The general manager of the Utah Mammoth, Bill Armstrong. When a guy takes a stick like that and gets knocked around and still goes back on the ice and gets the winner, it just shows you just how tough these guys really are.
I think there's a pride as a hockey player that you take a stick in the face or a puck, and you get cut in your face, and it's just the right passage that you have to go through to be a hockey player. You got to have some toughness. It's a great thing, and I think when people watch the sport of hockey, they value that there's effort and there's toughness in the game. And I think it really came out in the Olympics, some people losing some teeth. So it's a good thing.
Catch Scotty G and friends weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. 97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in on a Wednesday. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jeremiah Jensen, Steven Sylvester sitting in for Alex Curie once again, keeping the seat warm.
Hey, yo.
Keeping it hot.
Let's go. I feel great. It's been a great start to this week.
Why do you feel so great?
Get to come in studio, talk about sports. Did I forget the donuts today, Alex?
Oh, he forgot the donuts.
Promise I will get those
he
tomorrow.
ate them early here.
No, I haven't, but I've been dreaming about it. I had a dream about donuts last night, so it was great. It's great.
You had a dream about donuts.
Hey, man, I don't know. My dreams, I have like 8 different things. That's why I know they're dreams, because I'm like, this is just wild. Like, what the hell is going on? From me still playing football to me going to the dough show and just having a donut smorgasbord to traveling.
You have dreams about the dough show?
It goes all over the place. That's how I know they're dreams. It's just stuff that just doesn't make sense.
You know you're officially a middle-aged man when you're having dreams about donuts.
I mean, it used to be tequila and parties, but now it's
not
just
anymore.
Different.
Now it's all about donuts. Welcome to the club, Sly. You're one of us now.
Oh, yes. I love it. I'm
dreaming about donuts.
Embracing it.
Well, hey, dreaming about donuts is something to embrace, right? There's nothing wrong with getting old.
No.
All of you out there listening, you can tell Sly there's nothing wrong with getting old, right?
Man, yeah. It's all about how you take it.
Father Time is undefeated.
It is. So embrace it. Yeah. You got guys like LeBron who's embracing it.
Yeah. I don't know if he's embracing his partnership with Luka very much. It was kind of awkward last night.
I don't think he cares. Get paid $52 million. I know my value. I was on a walk with my wife and we were just talking about that. And like he's in a latter part of his career. I really don't think a lot of people talk about ring chasing and this and that.
Yeah.
And we actually talked about it kind of off air yesterday about stat chasing at this point in your career and where are you at and do you fault somebody to be 23 years in to be stat chasing now?
What's left to chase?
But what is there, right? Like for me, that's what I would do. If I was 23 years in, I've accomplished it. I've been league MVP. I've been all of these different things. That's what I would be doing. I'd be trying to set records that I want to make sure no matter whatever rule change the NBA implements, nobody will ever be able to attain or achieve or break my records, right? Like there's a staple of records are meant to be broken, right? Tom Brady says this. And I think LeBron's just out on a page right now that we're like, never break my records, right? Who's going to be at the end of their career, 45+ thousand points, 11,000 plus rebounds, 11,000 plus assists?
Nobody will be able to do that in NBA
right?
history forever.
Minutes, games. I'm setting
How about
records.
the 22 straight All-Star games?
That's crazy.
That's insane.
21 straight starter.
Right. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane statistics, insane career.
Right.
And at the same time, it feels like LeBron's like that guy at your company who's retiring in 6 months and everybody knows it and he's acting like it.
He's acting like it, yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't give a you-know-what, and I'm going to do things my way. And that's kind of how it feels like with him in L.A. right now. Like, everybody knows, like, the Lakers are moving towards being Luka's team, if they're not already. Mm-hmm. And plus, there's other good players, like, Reeves is a really good player on that team. And, like, it feels like that franchise is just ready to move beyond LeBron. Mm-hmm. But he's got, 25 games left on his contract. And he's just going to be like, you know what? I'm here. I know you all want me to leave.
Right.
You want my $50 million to leave your books.
Right.
And you're ready to move on without me, but I'm still here, and I'm going to make your life difficult
Here's
while
the
I'm
thing,
here.
too, and this is what a lot of people always say, like, oh, he's so old, it's this and that. I'm just like, do you know the value that he'll bring to your business? Let's just put on your business hat.
Oh, of course.
Forget the basketball hat. Put your business hat on.
Yeah.
What would your business improve if he's on your roster? If he's Udonis Haslem, not doing anything, but still on your roster, how much does that improve your business, your revenue, your bottom line, right? Is he worth that risk? And I think he's a guy that understands that as far as his value and what he brings to the table. And sorry, what I was getting at was the example of his business partnership with Blaze Pizza and how he 15x'd his investment just based off of his name being attached to that business.
Right.
And so that's just somebody
power.
Understanding their value.
That is real power when you can do that, and he still has that power. But as far as being that
Dominant player.
$50 million a year player in the league. I don't know that he's that anymore. And so it will be really interesting if LeBron decides, I'm going to do one more year. I'm going to do a farewell tour. And where am I going to do that tour? Or if he just decides at the end of this contract with the Lakers, I'm 41 years old now.
Call it.
Peace out.
Can't fault him either way.
Right.
But, critics and the topics that we need to talk about is what personality is he?
Feels to me like he's the guy that wouldn't mind the
wants a
farewell tour.
I don't think he would mind that either.
I just feel that way. And you made the point. Like the dude is a businessman now.
Yes, he owns a media company. Why would you not
and
do
a farewell tour is an opportunity to market and to profit and all those kind of things.
He's a billionaire with a media company.
Do not fault him in any way, shape, or form.
It make sense. Like, I wish I had betting odds in Vegas on this.
He's not going to be John Stockton and say at and with tears in his eyes at a press conference at the end of the season, I'm done, and we never hear from him ever again. Right?
He's going to be in movies.
Until he ends up on some wacky podcast or something 20 years from now.
Drinking wine and talking about internal issues.
Just who knows what it's LeBron's not going to do it the way John Stockton went out. So
right.
So BYU, that's where we're going to have to start the show today. What happened last night was shocking. I didn't expect it to be like that. We talked in the show yesterday about how tough UCF was going to be coming in here. That was a hungry team that had an opportunity to get a quad one win on the road against a top 20 team. They were on a mission, and BYU wasn't ready for what they brought. And it was shocking how things went down last night at the Marriott Center. We're going to break down that game and what this means for this team moving forward. How do they move forward? BYU basketball is the cut right now.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The BYU Cougars rarely lose at the Marriott Center. Obviously, there's some really good Big 12 teams that have been able to go in there and get it done. Iowa State couldn't. Iowa State's ranked 4th in the country. They couldn't win at the Marriott Center on Saturday. BYU played their best game of the season
this past weekend
on Saturday. 3 days ago, 4 days ago. They looked great. The supporting cast played out of their minds. Even with Rob Wright not being very productive points-wise, A.J. DeBonsa was incredible. One of his great college performances this season, which is going to be his only season in college hoops. It was a performance that I think BYU fans are going to remember when they think of A.J. DeBonsa. They're going to remember him nearly getting a triple-double and beating Iowa State, the number 6th-ranked team at the time, at the Marriott Center. So to go from the high of Saturday to the dumpster fire of last night is something I'm having a hard time processing. How did that happen? How did the BYU Cougars go from beating the number 4 ranked team in the country at the Marriott Center on Saturday and then turn around and get absolutely crushed, trailing by as much as 36 points against UCF in the Marriott Center? No disrespect to UCF.
But
last night we saw that's a good team. That is an NCAA tournament team. But it's like a 10 or a 9 seed at best. They went into your building and they punked you. They made you look like you didn't belong in the NCAA tournament. You did not look like a top 20 team last night, BYU. What happened? How was that explained? That was one of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen.
Right.
Wide open shooters all over the place. Wide open looks from the corner again and again and again. No resistance. I'm not going to go as far as questioning the effort. I think there's some guys on that team that are tired. I think that there is some fatigue. They don't have a lot of depth.
No.
And you're also not going to get consistency out of some of the role players. Some guys that had great games on Saturday didn't show up last night. That's kind of how it goes sometimes with guys that play certain roles or guys that are just in the rotation and not go-to guys. Rob Wright really struggled, though, and that didn't help. AJ was fine. But AJ didn't have the same juice that he had on Saturday. And you know what? I'm not criticizing. He's human. He's not going to be able to turn out a performance like that every night. And we talked yesterday.
Especially he's a true freshman too, right?
Exactly.
Like,
and we talked yesterday, Sly, about the fact that how many nights in a row, I'm not talking successive days, but how many games in a row, let me say it that way. How many games in a row can you play 40 minutes and still bring it consistently each and every game?
So great look at March coming up, right? You're completely correct. And when we talked to JT yesterday about all of it, yeah, it's not really possible, even though you think you can. Like I talked about it, like talking about AJ DeBonsa, what he was talking about in the post game after the Iowa State game. He's like, I'm young, I love it, I want to play 40 minutes all the time. It's nothing to me. I've been in these emotional games, right? And this is something for AJ's future to be able to have, because this is going to be the NBA too, right? And, you get into these emotional games, and the hardest part is not the output in that game, but it's recalibrating to reset for the next week, right? And me being in the NFL and knowing that from playing our arch rivals and the Ravens, which is an emotional battle, right? From the physicality standpoint, it's one. But then the emotional toll it takes on you, and the game is extra long, and the endings are always something crazy that takes a little bit more energy out of. And then coming down from all of that, and then you go and play the Bengals the next week.
Right.
Right? You got to retool and recalibrate and still have that same. It is extremely difficult to do. One, he's young, so it's learning stages. But for the rest of the team, where are they? Right? And like they were completely blanked. So I think they had, 24 points in the first half, 27 points in the first half? Yeah, the 28 points in the first half.
Yeah, 52-28, I believe, was the halftime score.
Yeah, man, it was abysmal.
Allowing that many points on your home floor in a half is...
At a half in college basketball is atrocious. And you know, maybe it is one of those things. Maybe we needed this loss before we get into the tournament to kind of humble ourselves, right? Because we kind of thought it was made. And here's the thing, too, that I've seen in football and definitely with my analysis and stuff is expecting other people to make the play, right?
Yeah.
Expecting AJ to be superhuman and win this game for us instead of me doing my job, right, as a team, right? We talked about how important those role players are to be consistent on the road, right, and to lift a little bit of that burden off of Wright and DeBonsa. But, yeah, man, it's tough. And the performance that they put on, the only benefit or the only plus, because I'm an optimist, that you could take from that is it was during the season.
Yeah, it was on a Tuesday night.
Right. Tuesday night during the season.
And if you move on and you go have a great game next and you start playing better, then you can forget about it. I mean, BYU had a stinker in Stillwater against Oklahoma State on the road. That was a bad performance.
Right.
Kind of similar. They got their butts kicked by a team they had no business
getting
being
their butt kicked by.
Controlled, allowing 97 points to Oklahoma State?
99.
UCF, made 11 threes in the first half. They were 11 of 16 from three. In a half. I don't have words for how bad they defended in this game. And you really worry if you're a BYU fan moving forward, and you're trying to be an optimist, and I think BYU fans appreciate that, but I don't think there's a lot of optimism right now in BYU Nation. I think they're shell-shocked. I think fans are looking like, what in the world?
What?
How can you be that bad when you know you're not that bad?
It sucks because you can't – I'm not going to – and this is the difference in basketball and football, right? Football, you got one opportunity, right? But this is not something where I go dumpster fire and say throw the whole program away type thing, right?
No,
and so, like, you have off nights. You have off days where you do not look like who you are. There is days like that. It doesn't matter what level you're at, from high school to college to the pros, you know, even to rec leagues, right? Like, there's days where you have like I really believe that was the day, because like the defense that was played last night, the allowing those threes, the closeouts were absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, the rotations, there was confusion everywhere.
Yeah, it's like you guys ain't played ball, you haven't watched film, like what's going on here? And so like you have those days, and again, optimistically, it was still during the season, and everything you want is still out in front of you. That's my takeaway, because I've had these days where like I'm trying to squeeze this square peg into this round hole, and it's just not working, and I just off, right? I missed every shot. I could be wide open, no pressure, nobody's even closing out to me, and I could miss that shot. I've missed layups, shoot, wide open layups, missed. Right, and so like there are days where you get off days, but when it comes to crunch time, which March is all about crunch time, man, and that's when the A players, aka Jimmer Fredette, comes out, and you don't have off days. You are just in the zone. You just black out and you just go, and that is what you're hoping as a BYU fan. Your number one ace players in Debonsa, Wright, and Keba, like all these guys can come out and make that happen, right? And Keba Kite and just have outstanding performances, play out of their minds, right? And that's why basketball is dangerous, and you have these smaller schools that can come up and beat you on any given day.
Yeah, and the Big 12's tough, and UCF I think they're going to be an NCAA tournament team. I think they probably punched their ticket last night.
Right.
You win at the Marriott Center in that fashion, you can ball. Like, that team had ballers. Those guys were tough. And we knew it going in. We talked about it yesterday. This is not a surprise to us or them. They knew. I mean, BYU was a double-digit favorite. They had the exact same conference record. BYU now trails UCF in the standings in the Big 12, which before the season, I don't think anybody would have expected that. BYU is now tied with TCU at 8-7. The Cougars are in 7th place. And this is where I think the frustration comes, is it's based on expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And when BYU was whole at the start of the season, the expectations were fair and real. You have the number one player in the country on your roster. You added Rob Wright at point guard, who was an established star in the college game. And you had Richie Saunders coming back, who was a legit second-round pick at the time, and I think he played his way up until the injury. He was looking like he could play his way into the late first round. He was that good and had that many good games this year. And you had a supporting cast, and it looked like you had some depth, and you had some pieces, and everything was going to come together. And early in the season, you saw them struggle a little bit. They had some halves where you're like, oh, that's not good. But they would have the comeback, like the comeback against Delaware, the comeback against Clemson. They fought back and clawed back against UConn and made it a really interesting game. Well, it's UConn. That's a national title contender. UConn's a really good basketball team. And they only lost to them by 2 points. Like, BYU's right there, and they're young, and they're going to get better as the season goes along. But we've seen everything happen and play out, and it's been one spell of adversity after another. And that's life, and that is sports. This is why sports are such a great analogy for life, is you go through the challenges, and you go through the ups and downs, and things that happen you never expect, you have to deal with it. And so part of the reason why there is a lot of frustration with the team right now is because of the expectations going into the season were so high, but they were legit. It was for good reason. And now the frustration is having to recalibrate your expectations for this team when you have a once-in-a-generation player at BYU. And that sucks because you had such high expectations of doing something special. And AJ is special, and he is having a special season. And what happened last night doesn't take away from that. He got 29 points. Yes, 12 of them were in garbage time. I get it. It was a little bit of a stat stuffer there for AJ last night. It wasn't a memorable game, even though he got 29 points, but he's sticking around that average of near 30 points a game, which is insane. You got a guy scoring next to 30 points per game for you. He's one of the best players in the country. He still could be the Big 12 Player of the Year. But the frustration with BYU is because it doesn't feel like they are meeting the expectation even after some of the adversity. And what you saw last night led many people to question the effort of this team. And when people are questioning your effort, whether it's fair or not, that's not a place where you want to be, and that's where BYU is right now. How will they respond moving forward? I can't wait to see. But right now, things look really dark in Provo, and I didn't think we would be talking about this
late in the season.
In late February.
Right.
To your point, yes, you get into a tournament, and it's one game, and anything can happen, and you have the best player in the country, in my opinion, on your team. He can go off and have a big game and win it for you.
Right.
But it is a team game.
Yes.
And it is a physical game when you get to March. And I didn't see a physical team on the court last night for BYU. It was the other way around. But that other team didn't really have to get that physical because it was too easy. This BYU team, it can't be too easy.
Right.
The other team has to feel you.
You talk about the Big 12 tournament, right? And we talk about
It's going to be physical.
BYU's now at the bottom half, leading
I know.
the bottom half.
You're
of
in
the conference.
7th place.
Yeah, man, it's not going to be easy, man. It's crazy. So Big 12 tournament, March Madness tournament, and it's not even guaranteed they get a bid in the March Madness tournament now.
They've done enough. They've got a resume, and they got AJ. They're not going to get left out of the tournament.
If they blow,
they're not going to get left out of the tournament.
If they blow these last 3 games,
but their seed can drop anywhere from 7 to 10. If you go in a tailspin, then your seeding can drop.
Okay,
I'm not denying that.
What if you're the other 8 teams, 7 teams ahead of BYU, and you're like, why is BYU in there? And
Well,
not
because
us?
those teams are going to have. I mean, especially UCF. UCF was 10 in the latest bracketology. I'm probably putting them in an 8 or 9 now.
Yeah.
And you have to drop. You're right to your point. You got to drop BYU.
Yeah.
You got to drop BYU. I mean, right now, would you? I know it's. Are we overreacting a little bit? Sure, but that's what you do.
At this point in the season, it's worth that.
Is UCF better than BYU? Kind of feels like it right now based on what I saw last night.
I mean, as we said, like UCF put on a show.
Yes,
right?
they did.
And
they were hot.
And you were just articulating that it's a team game, right?
Yeah.
We're not seeing team play from BYU. So as a team, I would say yes. And there's some individual players at BYU, but how are they working together to win basketball games? Especially at home. You had everything.
Yeah.
You had home. You had everything there. And so, yeah, consistency is key. And, yes, I would have to say UCF better than BYU at this point.
All this happening now, maybe a road trip is exactly what this team needs, and that's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
East Coast, baby. At West Virginia Saturday, at Cincinnati Tuesday, a Cincinnati team that beat Kansas by double digits. This is not an easy stretch, and then they'll finish the season against Texas Tech. 3 games left for this team to figure some things out, but what we saw last night is very, very concerning. Now, big night for Utah State tonight. They're at Viejas Arena. They're in San Diego, taking on the Aztecs. And this is a great opportunity for Utah State tonight to take control of the Mountain West race. They are in first place, and they did take a setback against Nevada, which, it's not an easy place to go in there and win. But they got a little help from Nevada last night. The Wolfpack beat New Mexico. So now Utah State has a 2-game cushion over New Mexico. New Mexico's 3rd place in the league. San Diego State at 12-4. So first place is on the line tonight in San Diego between Utah State and San Diego State. 9 p.m. tip-off. Scott Gerard will be on the call right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Aggies feel like the complete opposite of BYU, even though they dropped one at Nevada. They played tough. A couple of things didn't go their way in the final minute, and they don't come away with a win. But that team was red hot, and they'll try to pick that up again. They beat San Diego State in Logan, and I felt like they beat them soundly in Logan recently. So I think this is an opportunity for the Aggies to go down in a hostile environment and show what they're made of and respond to what happened in Nevada. I bet there's a lot of guys in that locker room that felt like they let one slip away in Nevada, and this race could be basically already sewed up if they would have got that win. They would have a 2-game lead right now going into this game. As of now, though, it's a 1-game lead. So a big game tonight for the Aggies. You can hear that game right here at 9 o'clock with Scott Gerard on the call. So we're entering March. It's time to get serious. Which of these teams is going to get serious? BYU, you going to get serious? Utah State looks like they've already been serious. Can they wrap up this regular season conference title?
This is where it gets tight, baby.
It's fun.
This is everything, right?
It's fun.
You got ups and downs. Every day, for me, in my memory of college basketball is every day changes, right? We could be so high on teams for beating teams like Iowa State on Saturday, and then Tuesday, all hell is breaking loose.
Yep.
Right? And it's so up and down. And then here, they come on Friday or Saturday whenever they play West Virginia, and they blow out West Virginia. Right? And look outstanding.
Maybe the Cougs
And then
can
we're
do
back.
that.
Hey, it was just a bad day on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to finish strong. This end of the season is so crazy and so great. Just buckle up, everybody. Just buckle up and just hope for some great basketball because, one, the Big 12 is awesome. So the Big 12 tournament, I think this year, is going to be just as good as watching March Madness. It's going to be absolutely outstanding because you're going to get great basketball games every single game. And I'm very much looking forward to that. It's going to be an awesome, awesome tournament. And then March Madness is great. I think all of basketball right now is riding good. And I wonder who's going to be that unicorn, that small school that comes out, right? There's a guy at, was it Southeastern Arkansas, something like that. It's some little school, and he is killing everybody. All the Big Ten schools he is murdering. I got to find out his name because there's a little highlight online or whatever about him, and he was going off. Which little school is going to come out and make March Madness just absolutely terrific? Right. And so that's what basketball is so great, is because you never know, just because you have number one player in the nation, or you guys have all the stats, and you can still be upset. Right. Arizona lost 2 games in a row. And did anybody expect that? No. And so any day could be your day, man. And that's
Houston's lost 3 in a row.
Right. That's why March is going to be absolutely terrific. And the end of this season is going to be awesome.
All right. Before we get to the break, we got some breaking news. Jazz-related breaking news. Now, hopefully nothing's broken, but it is breaking. Lauri Markkanen needs an MRI on his hip and ankle.
You don't say. What happened to him?
I don't know, but he needs an MRI, so he can't play.
Absolutely not.
Nope, he's got to sit out.
Going with the worst team in the NBA.
I mean, if you got an MRI, I mean, it's got to be serious.
Yeah, we definitely can't afford him.
As a precaution, they probably need to have him sit out the rest of the season.
Yeah, I would think that would be the smartest move.
Absolutely.
I can't afford to have wins. You can't afford wins. This is crazy.
Ben Anderson reports, so the severity of Markkanen's injury has not been revealed. The forward joins a long list of Jazz veterans who were sidelined late in the season. Yes, Lauri Markkanen requires an MRI on his hip and ankle. He suffered the apparent injury in practice on Wednesday. That's what we know. So don't know if he's officially on the report or what, or if he's not going to play tomorrow night when they play the Pelicans, but you bet your bottom dollar he's not. Take that to the bank. I don't know. Can you do that on DraftKings? Can you bet whether or not Lauri Markkanen is going to be? I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty sure there is. Don't get it. That's part of my parlay.
Okay, we'll add that to it and bet he's not going to play. So there you go. All right, Lauri Markkanen undergoing an MRI in a hip and ankle situation. So we'll keep you updated on that as news develops on Lauri Markkanen's situation. But don't expect him to be on the court anytime soon as he's dealing with that issue. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, some interesting news developing in college football. Are they finally going to crack down on some of this tampering stuff going on? Look, we know what's going on in the portal, okay? The NCAA wants to do something about it. We'll see if it has teeth next on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I am certainly looking forward to when this phase of Jazz basketball is over. And I would never say they do this intentionally, but I do think that the vibe of trying to lose affects the players in this sense, Ben. They were mopping the floor with the Grizz in the first half.
Yep.
It was just a completely different team in the second half. And by the way, the team the Grizz threw out there wasn't exactly all NBA. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't.
I'm thinking they're going to accidentally win this thing.
That's why
it's got to suck.
As I've said, these close losses that we pretend are good for something, it's not real. None of this is real. It just doesn't matter at all. It matters as soon as Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George are on the floor together. And then do you fit with that group or do you not? Because if you don't, they're not going to care about you. Their job is not to like you as a person. Their job is to win basketball games, and that's what they're trying to figure out.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no-surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you've been disappointed by underachieving savings, a high-yield certificate from America First can be a fantastic way to help your money start doing more. Whether you're planning for an upcoming expense or just want to save smarter and earn bigger, America First's flexible certificates are an outstanding way to grow your cash. So don't wait to get your money working. Head to americafirst.com and open a high-yield certificate today. Membership eligibility terms, conditions, and change apply. Fees could reduce account earnings. Federally insured by NCUA.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this. They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard. And it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
Attention Jazz Nation. We know you've been waiting on the edge of your seat, and the time has finally arrived. All tickets are available now. Let's go! Your favorite players will be back on the court, bringing the energy all season long. Whether you're looking for season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, there's a perfect option for every kind of fan. Show up loud and proud at Delta Center this season. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action. Buy your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
Tuesday tacos, Sunday roast, backyard burgers. Whatever is on your table, make it Bar W Beef. Trust matters. Knowing where the beef was raised, what it was fed, and where it was processed isn't a mystery at Bar W Beef. Dry aged 14 days. Steaks, brisket, ground beef bundles, premium cuts without premium markup. Shipped straight to your door. This is Utah beef. If you can't shake the hand of the rancher behind your beef, maybe it's time to try barwbeef.com or visit the store in Nephi.
Listen every Monday morning to DJ and PK and Monday afternoon with JJ and Alex for your Chevy Strong Play of the Game. Win great prizes from Rocky Mountain Chevy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
biggest name. You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Now I'm not like this, I'm really kind of shy, but I get this feeling whenever you walk by. I don't want to down you.
Boston brings us in here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. JJ and Alex. Sly in for Alex this week. And this will be a fun topic coming up here in a second. But first, I want to let you know that this segment is brought to you by U of U Health. At University of Utah Health, hope is in their DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. University of Utah Health, for you, for life. The NCAA is trying to show that it has teeth, that it has bite. We know it doesn't. But it's time to crack down on transfer violations. Got to get on top of this.
Man, yeah. You could just see the stuff coming, though. That's what the crazy thing is. You could see these issues from a mile away. I'm pretty sure there was videos after videos, articles after articles being put out about these things that are going on right now happening, man. So it's almost inevitable. And now it's coming to light. We actually have factual evidence to go off of.
Yeah. So we'll go over this. And this is a report coming from Ross Dellinger, who is just one of the best, if not the best, college football writers in the country for Yahoo Sports, he reported this today, that the NCAA is announcing stiff penalties on schools for adding a transfer outside of the portal window. So let's go over some of this. And I want to get your thoughts on this, if you think this has teeth or not.
Yeah.
Okay, the NCAA, as I pull up my notes here, things sticking a little bit. The NCAA football oversight committees are proposing penalties for schools that add transfers who left school outside of the portal windows. So I'm going to give you an example of this. And it was for a good reason, but Jake Retzloff last year left outside of the portal window. He left BYU. He's facing a 7-game suspension. We all know why. We don't need to go into the details of that story. But the fact is, he knew he was going to miss games for BYU, was outside the transfer portal window. He decides to transfer. I don't even believe he took a scholarship. I think he was like a walk-on, basically, at Tulane. He found the right program for him. It worked out great for him.
Sure, he made enough money to make up for it, so it's
fine. I'm sure that paying for his tuition and books and stuff wasn't a problem. He may have had to beg for a slice of pizza here and there, but I think he was okay.
All right.
That's an example of this, of transferring outside the window and landing in another spot. Now, that worked out for BYU and Tulane. We all understand that situation, but there's been others where I think there's a player that left Wisconsin or something. There's examples out there if you want to look at me. Yeah, we ended up at Miami, et cetera. So here's some of the proposed penalties. And the NCAA is getting serious. They're considering 7-figure fines, head coach suspensions for some transfer violations. How about being fined 20% of the football budget? That's chunky. That's a chunky.
Jeez.
How about head coach on-field and recruiting restrictions? How about a 6-game suspension? Now, that sounds like a lot, but did Jim Harbaugh's 4-game suspension of the year they won the national title affect Michigan?
No, because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what does that suspension look like? Oh, yeah, he doesn't show up for games. He's still part of game prep.
Right.
You know, if you look at these head coaches, right, I've been watching Kyle Whittingham the last 20 years, whatever, on the sidelines. I'm like, he's letting his coaches coach. Me being on good teams, the good teams that are on, the head coaches let the coaches coach. If you need somebody to come bring timeouts, I'm sure he's on a headset, in the car on the radio, like, call timeout, dang it, right? Like, he don't need to be on the field. Like, there's ways around that. Now, the suspension, is he away from the team? Now, that is what's significant, right? And so, like, what are the nuances behind suspending a coach? Now, these 7-figure fines, wow, that's something. That'll perk up some ears of some businesses. Right?
How does the NCAA enforce that fine?
How do you, though? That's what I don't know. That's the business side and the lawyers and all that.
Does a school end up suing the NCAA because they're trying to enforce that?
I'm telling you, there is no better time to be a lawyer. All kinds of different lawyers.
That we can agree on.
From disability lawyers.
That is not debatable.
To arbitrary lawyers. This is the best time. It's easy work. I put out a little social ad to say, hey, you need a lawyer for this, and this. Bro, your phone's blowing off the hook. This is the greatest time to be a lawyer right now. There is work, and the fees that you could charge is, oh my gosh, right? And so, like, greatest time to be a lawyer, especially with college billion-dollar industry in whatever college sports is now. But I think this is what makes people perk up. Affect my pocket. Affect my bottom line some way. You're going to get some change. You're going to get some people to do it, but you got to have some defined things around it because, like, coaches suspensions, these things, like, how does it really affect the team, right? Just because you don't have Harbaugh there for your media gaffes on the sidelines, was he a part of all game planning for the game of things that really affect the team? If you take that away, because a head coach suspension should